The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. For the Lucky Four battling at the top of the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, this has indeed been a magical season, and today that battle continues. But this magic mile holds more than mere points battles up its sleeve. It sparkles with the promise of reclaimed destiny. It shimmers with the emotions felt only by those who have come too close to losing it all and willed themselves back to the top of the heap. It shines with the sweet sheen of success and the sheer power of passion that comes to those who have fought for and attained their dreams. But for every dream brought to life, a field of nightmares lurk as the glitter of magic becomes a quick grade trip to the wall of reality. Today, the air is electric as the stage is set for the mile to once again work its magic. Race fans have made their way to the New Hampshire International Speedway. With temperatures in the 70s, it is a perfect day for racing, made even more ideal because one of New England's own is on the pole for the Jiffy Lube 300. The storylines today: Ricky Craven's comeback is a big one. Magic or tragic? What's the story on this racetrack? And can Jeff Gordon three-peat? We'll find out.
It was a good lap. It wasn't a very pretty day, Gosh, it's an emotional moment because 3.5 months ago, I didn't know when I was going to race again, if I was going to race again. And Tony Furr is awesome. Jeez, I just couldn't wait to get back and work with him and the guys. And phenomenal group of guys, and you can see their presence was being felt the last few races. My good friend Rick Hendrick, thank you. Pop, everybody, and obviously, thank the Lord for mending me back into racing condition. The most important thing is just being able to be back here and be with my family. This is my family. I mean, obviously I have my immediate family, but these guys mean the world to me. And I was honestly, I was scared to death all week because I didn't know what to expect. And I got 1,000,001 doctors to thank, and this is as messed up as I've been in a long time.
Well, the emotions were flowing freely from Ricky Craven on this his comeback weekend. Is this the magic mile, or for some, might it be a tragic mile if they think they can win but don't get to victory lane? And can Jeff Gordon become the only 3-time winner? He's right now the only 2-time NASCAR Winston Cup winner here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Buddy Baker is with us as per usual. I know you had a chance to spend a good bit of time with Ricky Craven not all that long ago, and he's ready to get back to the racetrack.
He is that, but he had so many questions that hadn't been answered. And then he got a test program up at Watkins Glen. Then he raced in the Grand National race up there, said it answered so many questions for himself. But he and I talked before that. I could tell he wasn't sure, but I think he's back, guys.
He is back, no doubt about that. Bobby Hamilton is back, all the way back at the end of the field, because in qualifying here on Saturday, second round butt pole qualifying, that's what happened. The backup car in place. He's been relegated to the back of the field, Glenn Jarrett. A long way to come on a flat racetrack.
Yes, he has, Eli, and I tell you what, this weekend has started off to be a little nightmarish for Bobby Hamilton. You wrecked the car that you won with at Martinsville. You had to use a provisional to get in the field. I tell you what, you guys have struggled. You got to feel like that things are going to get a little better when the race starts, Bobby.
Well, it can't get no worse, Glenn. Unloaded a pretty good car, though. I'd never raced this car before, and it drove really good. We was a little tight in the middle, and I think a lot of people are fighting that right now, but the car seems to be driving good, and I think we're just going to work on it, see how we do today. And I want to tell Cecil McClure back in Abington to get well soon. We're thinking about it.
Okay, Bobby, best of luck to you. Now let's go way up pit road to Matt Yoakum.
Well, thanks, Glenn. 1998 has been a magical year for Chad Little. His new association with Cardinal Jack Roush has yielded a career-best finish of 2nd at Texas. Today he starts a career-best 4th for the 2nd straight year. But not on Chad's side is history. No driver has ever scored their first Winston Cup victory here on the Magic Mile. But Chad, can you change that history today?
You better believe it. I think we've got the car to do it. Practice went really well. This is certainly a handling racetrack. You're not going to be able to do it unless your car is able to get a lot of good forward bite coming off the corner so you can get in that throttle early and stay in it pretty hard all the way through the corner. That's the whole key. We'll find out, within the first couple tire cycles if we can get that type of bite and stay with it all day long.
Well, good luck. Jeremy Mayfield pulled off the feed at Pocono. Little hopes to change history today on the Magic Mile. Now to Steve Burns.
Well, Steve Burns, obviously a little audio problem as he getting set there to chat with Darrell Waltrip, another driver who hopes to do awfully well here today. Hopefully a chance to chat with DW, and if not now, maybe in victory lane a bit later on. Stick around. More from Loudon, New Hampshire in a moment. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Drive in, drive out, drive on. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that whenever you feel good, it's Miller time. And by First Plus Financial. At First Plus, you don't need equity, you just need a home. Welcome back, everybody, as the field awaits the command to fire the engines for today's Jiffy Lube 300 here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Dr. Dick Berggren joins us now, and I've just been sitting here thinking to myself, who's going to win this race? And, of course, you've got the Bobby Hamiltons and the Mark Martins and the Rusty Wallaces, the Ricky Rudds. Does the winner come from that list?
He might, but then again, Jeff Gordon might turn out to be the winner. He is exceptionally good here. He's the only guy who has won twice at New Hampshire. They've had 6 races here. He's led 5 of them. And look at his 98 season. He's on top of the points right now. He has won 4 times this year, and he starts on the outside of the front row. That number 24 car, going to see a lot of that today.
Well, we are set to go racing, so why don't we head trackside right now for the command to fire the engines. John E. Sununu from the 1st Congressional District here in New Hampshire with the command. And with those words, we are set to go racing the Jiffy Lube 300 on TNN Motorsports just around the corner. And as soon as we come back, the starting lineup. So stay with us on a magnificent day in the Granite State of New Hampshire. We are back here at New Hampshire International Speedway. The Jiffy Lube 300 for the NASCAR Winston Cup team set to go. There's the AutoZone race analysis brought to you by the more than 2,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. 7th Winston Cup Series race here, and here's who's in the starting lineup. Ricky Craven, 5th place here in September of a year ago. And Jeff Gordon, his 7th front row start in the last 8 races. Dale Jarrett and Chad Little in row number 2. Jeff Burton and Kyle Petty, his best start of 1998. There's old DW. Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte. Gary Bradbury, fellas, oftentimes happen. The driver change in a car, and there's Gary qualifying near the front of the field.
It was a strange qualifying, though. We had rain right up to qualifying, so we'll see how he does in the race.
Kenny Wallace and Rick Mast. Dale Earnhardt was 2nd here in July of a year ago. Jerry Nadeau, he'll be dropping to the back of the field. Jimmy Spencer and Hunt Strickland. Kenny Schrader hoped to be able to grab the pole, but when he made his qualifying lap here on Friday, Dick Berggren, he left his lead behind.
Yeah, it kind of came out of the race car. NASCAR saw it, disallowed the time. He had to go in the 2nd round.
Terry Labonte is here. There's Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton, Sterling Marlin and Lake Speed in row number 18. Then the provisional starting spots from this point on back. Steve Grissom was 4th here in both races last year. Presley, Bodine, and Andy Hillenberg. He started the car this weekend. Then Morgan Shepherd got in for the 2nd round of Bud Pole qualifying. And now Hillenberg's in it here on race day.
Well, the reason for that is they said they brought Hillenberg up to race the car, but he wasn't quite fast enough. They had hoped that Morgan was going to get the car in the field without a provisional. When he didn't, they put Hillenberg back in it again.
We'll be getting a ride around this mile racetrack with 7 of the drivers in the field today. That is, of course, Ricky Craven, not Ward Burton, as Ricky is our Bud pole sitter in the Budweiser machine. There's Ward Burton's car, the MB&A Pontiac, with the Inside Outdoors sponsorship. We'll talk more about that a bit later on. Jerry Nadeau, although that right there is Mike Skinner, with whom we are riding. The name said Nadeau, but the uniform says otherwise. That is Mike Skinner for the Richard Childress Racing Team. Mark Martin has the Valvoline Ford out of the Jack Roush stables. We'll also be getting rides around the Speedway again with Mike Skinner, whom we showed you moments ago. Gary Bradbury is on board the Tabasco machine. 1 race deal again. They expect to name a full-time driver here fairly soon. Jeff Burton. He'll be starting near the front in 5th. And we have the Tabasco look, and again there's Ricky Craven. Set to go racing. Pace car pulls away. Let's listen in and watch as the Jiffy Lube 300 is set to roll.
Green flag, green flag, green.
Start now to turn 3 and 4, riding with Mike Skinner.
Eli, you can see the car is moving back and forth. The back ends on the car is very loose the first couple of laps. That's due to low air pressure in these tires. As they build up, they'll get much more stable and they won't be washing around quite as much.
Though Ricky Craven in his first race back leads the first lap of the Jiffy Lube 300. There goes Ernie Irvin now in the 36, challenging Rusty Wallace. That's for 7. Mike Skinner in the 31 goes downstairs and drives by him and rubs right past. Riding right there with Mike Skinner.
Well, as you can see right now, a car on the outside of the second groove around this corner this early in the race is not sticking as well as right around the base of that yellow line in the corners there. So they're having to give and take a lot.
Trouble right there. Midway down the back straightaway, Ward Burton and Kenny Irwin. And caution is on the Speedway. Caution, lap number 2. The race back to the stripe is going to be Ricky Craven holding off Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett. So caution on the Speedway as we again ride with Ward Burton as he pulls away from the accident scene. He, Kenny Irwin, Robert Presley, all involved.
Every one of them back under their own speed there, but you see Robert Presley has a lot of damage to the left rear quarter panel of his race car.
So caution for the first time here today. Let's take a look at exactly what happened here on lap number 3 as we go up to the corner. Everybody wants the same piece of real estate, guys. Oh, it looks like Spencer went wide. The 23.
See Kenny Irwin right there going round and round.
Then along came Ward Burton. Lake speed woed down, but it looked like the 23 might have been the first one to kick out. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, Jimmy Spencer definitely got into the 28 there, Kenny Irwin. You see that's Ted Musgraves there spinning around also,
and
the 16.
Ward, right, Ward Burton.
It has not been a pretty first few laps. There have been several occasions where cars have been running 3 wide and been a lot of pretty brave stuff here going into the corners. It was almost inevitable that something was going to happen, and soon.
Last year in July, only 2 caution flags. Here in September, we had 8. And at this pace, of course, we're well ahead of schedule for any of those numbers. Ward Burton is in. So too Kenny Irwin. Robert Presley is in. Also, the Hillenberg machine. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Eli, Kenny Irwin on pit road. I can see the left side of the car. There's heavy damage to the left front. They're trying to pull the sheet metal away, getting a tire off and back onto the left side. But again, heavy damage behind the left front to Kenny Irwin. Now he stalls trying to get off pit road. And again, they're looking under the right side now. So heavy sheet metal damage to the 28 of Kenny Irwin.
Let's see what Ward Burton saw. Remember, he's carrying our onboard camera. And let's see the view he had over there in the corner. It'll happen in turn 1. Steve Grissom, the 41, gets by. You saw Bobby Hamilton going by in the grass right there. So we are under caution. Pit stops for some. Derek Cope is in at lap number 5. Ray Evernham's driver, Jeff Gordon, is currently second.
Mack trucks are furnished by Clement Chevy Mack Sales. For all your truck and tractor needs, call Clement at 1-800-369-MACK. Visit, experience, shop Simpson World, a racer and race fan superstore, now open in Mooresville, North Carolina, Indianapolis, Indiana, Torrance, California, and opening soon in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Race fans, you make the call. New LCI long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free calling and a calling card featuring participating drivers. Don't delay. Call now, 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
Well, Kenny Irwin still on pit road, made a lap, came back, and now you see him pulling away again. Sterling Marlin has been in a couple of times. Robert Presley.
The 28 car just sent of Kenny Irwin. They strung it. They put a string on the right front wheel there, but all the way the rear wheel to check the alignment of the car, and it checked out pretty good. He's back underway.
And so are we. Green flag here in Loudon, New Hampshire, lap number 8. Ricky Craven leads. Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty is 4th, and Jeff Burton 5th. Jeff Gordon just looking around while Craven leads for the 4th straight race here at New Hampshire. This is the 2nd race he's led this year. Early in the season, he led 6 laps at Rockingham.
You know, Kenny Irwin Jr. just come out of the pits, and he's dropping back. He has some damage to the front end of that car. I don't expect him to run until the next caution flag.
Mike Skinner, you might have just seen, made the move going into the corner, and now he rides up in the 5th spot, having bypassed Jeff Burton. There goes the battle for the lead into turn number 3.
I would remind you that these two guys are teammates. They both run out of the same stable, but they are also very good friends. Spend a lot of time together.
Here comes the 5 points for Jeff Gordon for leading a lap here.
So Jeff Gordon for the 10th straight race. He has now led. That's the 6th time in the 7 races here that he's led, but Craven's not satisfied on his return to sit in 2nd.
He said, there's your 5 points, but I want to lead the race here in my home. He loves this place up here. There wasn't one person when he sat on the pole the other day sitting down. Everybody else applauding his effort in qualifying.
Well, lap number 10, Ricky Craven reassumes the lead.
Well, he's had so much success here. He won a Busch Grand National race here in '91. He won a couple of Busch North races here. He's won a Busch Grand National pole here. This is really, if any place is his home track, this is Ricky Craven's home track. Live right near here. These people watched him come up through the ranks in this area, and I'm sure this is one delighted crowd seeing their hometown kid come back from head injuries to lead this thing.
If you're wondering Darrell Waltrip's doings, there he is in 10th right now with John Andretti in the 43 car right there with him.
Eli, he's having a great time. He said the other day he likes it when it gets slick, and he had his wish because he had a great qualifying effort there. You can see John Andretti looking to the inside. Darrell giving him, come on by.
I'll tell you, that team is going to miss Darrell Waltrip when he moves on. They're certainly looking forward to Steve Clark, but they've all had an enormously good time with Darrell Waltrip. Philippe Lopez, the crew chief, says Waltrip has inspired the team, and everybody has tremendous confidence as a result of what has happened.
And look who's coming in right behind them. There's the 33 of Kenny Schrader, who started back in 26th, and Schrader's now in 12th. Riding with Mark Martin, looking rearward. He's got Bobby Labonte right behind him. And looking ahead there towards Ken Schrader.
You want to see a car getting great grip off the corner there. The 33 of Kenny Schrader is coming off the corner as straight as it can possibly come off.
And there you see the darker portion in the turns. That's where they painted 1,750 gallons of that track reconditioner the other day. It's a... They did?
The sealer.
It's a sealer. They call it a track reconditioner.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's water and a high concentration of sand. That's what makes up that black stuff.
And it's only upstairs. The very bottom groove is a very, very smooth asphalt. Upstairs a little bit more gritty. There's a change for the lead, maybe.
Oh,
maybe not.
Did I say they were friends?
Jeff Gordon got down on the apron then. He made a little contact with Craven as they got in the center part of the corner. You see Dale Jarrett coming now.
Yeah.
Craven hung on the outside.
That's Craven's bigger problem here. He may not be able to get back in line because Jeff Burton is going to close it up too. Indeed, Burton does.
Anyway, the point of the sealer is to make the outside stick better, to try and make this a racier track and improve the quality of the upstairs groove. We'd have to ask Ricky Craven about that along about now.
Eli, you see the 44 there. That's Kyle Petty. This is one of his best runs of the whole year. Great qualifying effort by him, and now he's moving towards the front.
Kyle has not had good runs of late. 14 finishes of 22nd or worse in the 16 races thus far this year. Wouldn't this be sweet redemption for that team?
Yeah, and he's good here, too. He finished on the lead lap of both races last year. Even though he's never led a lap here, he's good on these flat tracks for sure.
Gordon, Jarrett, Jeff Burton, your front three.
Chevrolet, 2 Fords, and a Pontiac.
There's a good scramble behind. Remember the 28, Kenny Irwin, not among the leaders there. He is already a lap down in 41st spot.
Yeah, he's struggling real bad. I think he's coming in the pits as we speak. I know he was fighting the car. Yeah, he didn't look very... You can see the right front is cocked out just a little bit.
Steve Burns, I know you're still there, and it's not good when the tire is waving at you as he comes in straight.
Eli, Buddy Baker hit it right on the head a minute ago when he said they had strung the car, and they're doing it again. The simplest way to put this is they're checking the alignment, and now Kenny Irwin has shut the motor off, so this is going to be a long, if not indefinite, stay for Kenny Irwin.
Involved in that lap 3 accident, and Kenny is on the pit lane now for service.
Eli, you see Dale Jarrett running along here in second. He is right on the bottom of the racetrack. Runs this racetrack extremely well. Robert Yates Motors really get down these long straightaways. I think he's going to be a tough guy to beat all day long, but he wants a 5-point bonus also.
Of course, you've got to be able to control and harness that Robert Yates power. It doesn't do you any good to start spinning the wheels on a flat racetrack.
Just remember, the straightaways are longer than the corners.
As long as you handle on the straightaways, I hear you. Just underway, 19 laps in. 90 is Dick Trickle right there. Working the outside groove in 22nd spot.
His car owner, Jimmy Dunleavy, has returned to the races. Yep. He's walking around with a spry step. Actually saw him running through the garage yesterday. He climbed on top of the hauler. He has been out most of the season with coronary problems, but looks great and says he feels great.
It was super to see him back here this weekend. Let's see if Dick Trickle gives something to smile about. Closer to the front. That 91, not on the lead lap. Andy Hillenberg, a lap down at 41st. Everybody else, however, is on the lead lap in that picture.
The 98 there, Rich Bickle, was the second quickest car in happy hour yesterday, so he's got a very good race car. You see him on the outside there of the 91 car.
And interestingly, Ricky Rudd in the 10 is using an engine this week that is rented from Cale Yarborough Motorsports, trying to get all the things in gear under the hood. Ricky said we're going to try something else. So the 10 right there is using a power plant from the 98 team.
Well, they did for a while. They yanked it just before the race. And
Leg speed got hit there by
Brett Bodine.
Yeah.
Jerry Nadeau had the great view of it. Yeah, they decided to make that change just before race time, but all weekend long, Rudd was going with a 98 power plant.
Well, they kind of had to try something, and that was a really good move for him to try another engine, see if it was engines that were causing them the problems, and now they get a chance to try them back to back and see how things are going to work.
Michael Waltrip in that orange number 21, trying to get back down low, and he can't. He's back to 31st spot before he gets in line. And there comes the 4, Bobby Hamilton on the move.
Bobby Hamilton started dead last right now, and he's already worked his way into 30th place and now moving up.
Terry Labonte also on the move among all of these machines out there. Started 32nd, and he's now running 20th as we watch Hamilton slice his way through traffic with Jeff Bodine following him through in that Phillips number 7. Up front, 0.2 of a second was the advantage that Gordon had on Jarrett, but Dale has cut it right down going into the corner. This is the battle for the lead as Gordon shows the way 24 laps in car number 24. We're early here at New Hampshire International Speedway. There's caution on the Speedway. Sterling Marlin's in the wall. We'll update you when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. As we were breaking away moments ago, we just told you that Sterling Marlin had problems and caution on the Speedway. It came out at lap number 26 as Sterling A had a tire go down. And then, buddy, when that happens, if you can't come in immediately, that flapping Goodyear rubber is going to start stripping pieces off the race car.
10 inches wide, and it's like a tomahawk underneath the left rear corner there. It did a lot of damage to the car itself, but knocked all the inner panels out. You see part of the metal gone on the left rear corner right in that area right there. You can see where it just lifted the whole quarter panel up, and that knocked all the aluminum backing out of there.
So debris off Sterling Marlin's car. Here's what happened a short while ago outside of Lake Speed.
Whoa. Say Lake kind of cut that tire down. You see the back end of the car get real loose as the tire goes flat, and around he goes. As of right now, he hadn't hit the outside wall, so he's able to he got it back straight,
nice,
and able to go on.
But coming around the mile to get to pit road, that's when he stripped off all the other debris. That's what Ward Burton saw from his view. So caution for the second time, and flew at lap number 26. Jeff Gordon continues to lead. Pit stops for some. One of the quickest cars on the track is Ken Schrader. He's up to 13th, and we'll talk more of him when we come back to New Hampshire in a moment. GNN Motorsports live coverage from the New Hampshire International Speedway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. Back in New Hampshire, there is Sterling Marlin's machine, having just gotten the 1-to-go signal and a new set of Goodyear Racing Eagles. Now, what happens here when all of these pieces of rubber come off the race car and start knocking out crush panels and all of that, buddy? Could make for a long day for Sterling.
Well, you can see the rubber now getting loose from the rim and starting to hit the quarter panel there, knocking the inner panels out. Does a lot of damage. And that also will increase the heat inside the car because it's now knocked out the inner panels there.
And if you're a John Andretti fan, there he is now. Started in 16th. He's up to 7th place. A lot of guys making some good moves. Skinner is running in 6th right there in the 31. A lot of interesting names near the front. Green flag is in the air. Lap number 33. Kenny Irwin, you see, coming off the pit lane again. He is now being shown 13 laps down.
Eli, you can see Mike Skinner there. He is flying up through this crowd right now. Right now, he just got by John Andretti. He's working on Rusty Wallace.
Skinner is finally back to health again. He says he came back from those injuries at Texas and Atlanta too quickly. And says that has really hurt his performance. And he and Larry McReynolds are clicking as well. So those two guys said before the race, this could be a big one for that team.
Single file among the leaders. Just joining us, 2 cautions today. One at lap 3. When Ward Burton, Kenny Irwin, Robert Presley, and Ted Musgrave all spun. And now the one for debris off Sterling Marlin's car. Total of 9 caution laps to this moment.
Riding with Jeff Burton here, looking at Dale Jarrett. It takes Dale Jarrett about 5 or 6 laps to get his tires hot, and then all of a sudden he'll run right back up on Gordon. But right at the moment,
Trouble. Bodine in the wall. Lake Speed. Nemechek. Spencer in the wall. There's fire from the Steve Grissom machine. Hut Strickland is in the 96. Gary Bradbury driving through the carnage. And you see Grissom moving around. Lap 34, caution. You had Spencer, Lake Speed, Nemechek's machine. You had Hut Strickland, Steve Grissom, as the track just narrowed up off the number 4 corner. And there is the native of Gadsden, Alabama, who had finished 4th in each race here a year ago. Won't finish 4th today. There's Hut Strickland's machine.
Tremendous amount of damage there. Radiator, the right front wheel is mashed all the way back to the firewall on the 96. Hut Strickland.
And that team needed a break. They have had 6 DNFs in a row, the 96 team.
That's Grissom there in the green and white suit.
There's Spencer right there. They have not thrown the red. Those guys are just waiting for the line of traffic to get through the accident scene.
Eli, look at the damage on the front of the 23 of Jimmy Spencer. Tremendous amount of damage.
Yeah, here comes Spencer in. There's as much, if not more, damage on Nemechek's car as there is on Spencer's machine as well. So everywhere you look, there's Lake Speed surveying the Cartoon Network car. Now, what happened? Let's take a look and see if we can pinpoint it. Here's the setup going down the back stretch into turn 3.
That's Jeff Bodine going high there. Andy Hillenberg in the 91 under him. Lake Speed just behind him. They make contact right there.
Hillenberg and Bodine got together, and that's what keyed it all.
It just started to get sideways. He almost had it saved until he and Hillenberg made contact.
You can see Bill Elliott right back in this area, just creeping through there, avoiding everyone in that wreck.
Watch this. And from high overhead, Hillenberg and Bodine. Strickland into Speed.
Yeah. Spencer's just behind there in that cloud of smoke. No, he has no idea where to go. Grissom there in flames there in the 41. Now into the outside wall.
Jerry Nadeau is right behind. Let's watch this. Look at all that beating and banging. God, you would have thought you were running Martinsville.
It looked like a video game, didn't it?
Didn't it?
Wow.
Man. There's Joe Nemechek's car already behind the wall, and from this angle, unfortunately, you can't see the significance of the damage. See where the guys are working on what used to be the front end. Trust me, if the hood were down, there isn't a whole heck of a lot there to work on. They're having to straighten out all the sheet metal. And, Buddy, I guess the problem there is, as we saw with Hut Strickland and Lake Speed, if one guy woes down at one pace, and if you don't necessarily expect it, that just furthers this domino effect.
Eli, what you do, you pick up the throttle in the center part of the corner, and you're really getting off the corner in a straight line. All of a sudden, things happen in front of you. By the time you get on the brake, you're almost blinded by the smoke of the spinning cars, and you just get into, it's almost like on the freeway where you just get caught up in wrecks that you have nothing to do with because you can't avoid them, because you can't see them.
Well, tough day for Steve Grissom. Had high hopes for a fine finish here in New Hampshire today. Steve Grissom is the subject of our Home Depot driver profile. Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Steve Grissom is in his 5th season with the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit. He entered the series from the NASCAR Busch Series ranks, where he won the championship in 1993. The step up the stock car ladder has left quite an impression on him.
I can remember being asked the question after leaving the Busch Series and winning the championship, you know, how long do you think it's going to take to make the adjustment in Winston Cup? And I said, well, I don't feel like it's going to be too long, because when we come from short track racing to the Busch Series, we was going to these tracks for the first time and not only had to learn new cars, but learn the tracks also, and felt like, you know, after being in the Busch Series, that we had a pretty decent handle on the racetracks, and it was just going to be adjusting to the cars. And I tell you what, it's a bigger step. I mean, these guys are obviously, I mean, they're the best.
Last season, Grissom enjoyed his greatest success here at New Hampshire with back-to-back 4th-place finishes. His past fortune here has given the team an added measure of confidence at the Magic Mile.
Obviously, we've got something that worked good for us here last year. You know, the only difference is that, you know, the rules has changed just a little bit from this time last year to now, not only with the bodies, but with the engines also. So you've got a couple of different variables, but still it comes back to, it gives me as a driver a lot of confidence and the team a lot of confidence to know that we've got a good shock package, a good spring package, and then, you know, we feel like we know where we need to come off the truck at, and with that, you know, if we're not where we need to be, then we know some areas we need to work on.
Today, Grissom returns to Loudon riding on a solid 10th place finish in Sonoma, and the Kodiak team has definite goals for the second half of the season.
The guys at Kodiak's been great. They've been around this sport for a long time, and you know, they've been through the ups and downs, and Larry's been around this deal for a long time, and he's seen it too. So again, right now we're just trying to get our deal straightened out and try to get to where we can be competitive on a consistent basis.
There is Steve Grissom's Kodiak machine done for the day. Hud Strickland's car to the garage area. Joe Nemechek is being worked on, at least his car is, right there. Lap number 38 is on the board. You see Matt Yoakum leading alongside that race car. Matt, a lot of work to be done.
Eli, Scott Eagleston and company working on the Bell South Chevy. The front pushed into the form of a snowplow. They're trying to reshape the fenders. They're going to have to replace the oil cooler and also the radiator. Joe, what happened?
I'm not real sure. It seemed like someone either blew up or lost an oil line, and it happened. It all started back going in turn 3. I got all squirrely and slid up the track, and then coming off, they just started wrecking in front of me like everybody hit the oil, and I couldn't steer my car. I was trying to steer it out of the wreck, but you just hit the oil, and I had the wheels cut, and it just kept going straight. So just real unfortunate. This whole Bell South team has been working so hard, and it's just really disappointing. We had a really good race car for here, just trying to bide our time.
Well, tough break for Joe Nemechek. They're working on the car, but it's going to be a lengthy stay behind the pit wall.
Well, they have put a lot of speedy dry down in turn number 4. Whether that was the cause or the aftermath of the accident, we'll find out. Right now, though, we break away while track cleanup continues. 39 laps complete in the Jiffy Lube 300. Welcome back to New Hampshire, continuing under caution here in the Jiffy Lube 300. Don't forget, folks, you can enter TNN's Take Home a Piece of the Action sweepstakes. That's right, you could actually take home a piece of the action if you can answer a bit later on today who is leading at the completion of the 50th lap. You could win a trip to a NASCAR Winston Cup race. It'll be televised right here on TNN. You'll meet the drivers. You'll receive autographed memorabilia. So in just about 9 laps from now, we'll remind you again at lap 50, jot down who is leading at the completion of the 50th lap and send your name, address, phone number, and the answer on the postcard to the address you see on the screen. And maybe we will be greeting you at an upcoming NASCAR Winston Cup Series race. Well, we were looking again at the videotape. Joe Nemechek might have thought somebody put oil down on the racetrack, but all of that speedy dry was in the fluids that came out of the cars after the accident. I think Jeff Bodine and Andy Hillenberg, when they got together, probably keyed it all. And let's see what we're going to find out from the Jeff Bodine crew.
Well, Eli, Jeff Bodine just taking off the gloves, and now the helmet's going to come off. Lots of damage to this car of Jeff Bodine's. Jeff, from your perspective, let him take his helmet off. From your perspective, Jeff, what happened on the racetrack? Looked like a mess.
My perspective, I think it's pretty obvious. You know, Andy Hillenberg ran into me, and I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, but he did. I passed him going into turn 3 on the bottom, and kind of like sprint cars on this track, you hit some slippery stuff. I just slid in front of him. We didn't have any contact, but put me up in a high groove, and coming off the corner, he just slipped, I guess, hit some slippery stuff, and slid up and hit me and spun me around. I tried to keep going, but I bumped the wall, broke the radiator, and then these other boys got in a wreck. And I mean, that's a shame that happened. These track conditions are absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, Bob Baird, but, you know, I love you guys. I drove his car once at Daytona, but the track conditions are bad. These heavy cars, these small tires, the Goodyear tires, with all this horsepower, we're digging the sealer up, digging the track up, and it's terrible out there. We had a great car. The filled car was absolutely perfect out there. You know, I tried the outside a few times, and you can see what happened. You go to the back, it's so slippery, but we're going to try to get it fixed. We needed a good finish. We need a good run. Our sponsor, Phillips, they're great. They're a top company in the whole wide world, and, you know, we want to run like a top team in NASCAR. We really are running that way, but we just have bad luck, and today just an example of bad luck.
All right, well, they're working hard to get this car back in the race. Let's go now to Glenn Jarrett.
Hey, thanks, Steve. While all this has been going on, we've been listening to some of the guys talk about the problems they're having, and I'm going to update you on Dale Earnhardt. He's running pretty good for all you Dale Earnhardt fans out there, and I know there's 1 or 2 of you watching. He was having radio problems. This is the same car they ran at Richmond, had radio problems with there. They switched radio channels. That cleared the thing up. But then Dale reported back in, he's got some sort of leak in the car. It shows up on the windshield, some moisture on the windshield, whenever he starts running hard. Seems to be okay under slow speed under caution, but when he starts running hard, some kind of leak.
Going back to green in just a moment here in New Hampshire. The leader is Jeff Gordon. Lap 43 of 200 now complete, or excuse me, of 300 complete. Getting set to go back to green. Pace car begins to pull down the pit lane. We return to the Jiffy Lube 300.
Green flag, green flag.
Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, Kyle Petty, and Rusty Wallace. And let's establish again, Dick Berggren, for those who are joining us along the way, that there were some engine changes today on a couple of the Roush cars. Should that be a factor as the afternoon continues?
Well, it could be. Burton, who we are currently riding with, had an oil leak of some sort. They didn't know if it was the transmission or the engine. The engine guy said, my engine's fine. Transmission guy said, my transmission's fine. So they changed both. Same with Mark Martin. Also had a mysterious leak. Did they get it fixed? You'll see. There's still a good ways to go today.
Oh, yeah, we're very, very early. Just 46 of 300 laps complete.
You know, the one nice thing about, I will add this, every motor that you put in one of these race cars has a considerable amount of time on the dyno back at the race shop, so they've checked them pretty well. Every now and again, you'll get a gremlin in there and get a leak, but they're normally pretty well thought out.
Napa timing and scoring across the top of the screen. Napa Auto Parts, we keep America running. Here goes Kyle Petty. He's in the 44. Looked to make the move for third spot. Couldn't quite get the grip off the corner. Kyle's running a smart race right now.
He is that. He looks like his father out there. Richard Petty used to just get right on the bottom of the racetrack, use every bit of the car that he needed to use, but not abuse. And right now, he's taking a look at the people. Here comes Mark Martin by Darrell Waltrip.
This is 411th spot and give it to Mark Martin right now. So he'll grab 11th, and can Darrell bypass him?
They've been swapping back and forth. That's about the second time they passed each other, but looks like Mark Martin gets great grip off the corner.
Well, Mark started all the way back in 15th, but where you started in Hampshire has very little to do with where you finish. And if there is a racetrack where you can start in the back and still win it, it's here. Rusty won from 33rd. Gordon from 21st, and look at this.
Here comes Earnhardt. Earnhardt looking on the inside of Waltrip. Car owner chasing one of his drivers there. Darrell Waltrip driving the Earnhardt car. They're coming through the corner there. It looks to me like Earnhardt's got his car dialed in pretty well today.
Okay, you talked about starting positions, Dick. Only Ricky Rudd, when he won here from third, had what you'd consider a decent starting spot. Everybody else is starting from way back.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You can start from almost anywhere, it seems, except the front row and win at this place.
There goes Jeff Burton, just sweeping by Jarrett up into turn 3. He'll grab second spot.
Eli, early in the race, if you're a little bit off, a good caliber driver like Dale Jarrett will not jeopardize his car by doing things foolish. So he'll give him a break right now, adjust the car on the first pit stop, go back out and race very, very hard.
Watching Burton, let's remember that he won here last year.
Right. Now watch Johnny Benson. When he goes into the corner, we're seeing smoke off the rear of the car. Don't know if he was, somebody got into him there and some tire smoke, but looks like the right rear. We'll watch it again. But the Betty Crocker colors on the 26th this week, definitely smoking from the right rear of the car as he went into the corner each and every time by. It's slight, but it's clearly there.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. You can see it smoking under acceleration there.
That's not part of the sponsorship deal. They're not cooking anything back there, are they? Nah.
Up closer now, we see Gary Bradbury just ahead of Johnny Benson. They are running 33rd and 34th, respectively. Looking back from Bradbury towards Benson. For those of you who are choosing to play that TNN, take home a piece of the action sweepstakes, remember you want to write down that Jeff Gordon was the race leader at lap number 50 here today. Jeff Gordon, the race leader, lap number 50. For those of you who are playing TNNs, take home a piece of the action sweepstakes.
Looking at the computer here, the fastest car that last lap was Dale Jarrett, 126.
There goes Earnhardt, grabbing 12th from Darrell Waltrip. Schrader in the 33 comes along as well. DW not getting off the corners now. That's where he's losing position here.
Yeah, but give him time. They've got that car set up so it's best on long runs. And Felipe Lopez told me this morning that what they really need to do is run a whole lot of laps before that car will come in. And right now, you're absolutely right, Eli. He's not running as good.
Loose.
Yeah, not running as well as he had been.
Eli, you to have a very astute eye, because I just was told by our spotters that he is reporting to his crew chief that he's very, very loose.
See, every dog has his day. I get lucky every now and then. 54 laps complete. 246, as you see in the upper right of your screen.
See Rick Mass there in the 75 car. He's moving up also. They had to land the airplane on the way back from Sonoma on the road course race in Denver, Colorado. Take him off and replenish the fluids in his body. He dehydrated in the race out there. They thought he was having a heart attack, but it was thankfully not anything serious other than just dehydration.
Right, that and a little carbon monoxide in the system, but Rick Mast just fine. He would have been okay had we won the Pepsi 400 at Daytona last week. Anyway, he was ready to go. And there is Rick, who won here in a NASCAR Busch Series race. Matter of fact, the last of his 9 career Busch Series victories came here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Up front, there you see Jeff Gordon. Then the lapped car of Robert Presley ahead of second place Jeff Burton. That's us up there. Back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. There you see the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place machines on your screen. Rusty Wallace, Mike Skinner, Don Andretti, and Mark Martin as we ride with Mark now through the corner back towards turn number 4. If you're curious about Jeremy Mayfield, he is back in 18th spot right now as we see Skinner bypassing Rusty Wallace to grab 4th spot. Good outside move there going into the corner.
Great outside move, and Mike Skinner's really proving a point right now. He's been injured most of the year, as you said earlier in the broadcast, but you can very well see that he and Larry McReynolds have their act together this weekend. He's moving right to the front.
And let's make that Larry McReynolds point with an explanation point at the end of it. McReynolds was crew chief for Davey Allison here in the opening race in '93. They finished third. Ernie Irvin led 106 laps here in '94 with McReynolds as crew chief. They almost won it. McReynolds did win it with Ernie Irvin in '96. He was second last year with Earnhardt. McReynolds knows what he is doing at New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. You mentioned Davey. You realize that today is 5 years to the day that Davey Allison passed away?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It seems like yesterday.
Yesterday to me, too. I'm looking at Mark Martin right now. He's looking at the 43 car there. And you can see Andretti is not up to speed like he was just a few laps back. Mark Martin has moved from 15th to 7th or 6th, make it right now, and he's working on Andretti. You can see the back of Andretti's car getting sideways just a little bit out of the corner.
Here comes Mark on the outside.
Meanwhile, here's a good scramble between Bobby Labonte and Ricky Craven, 14th and 15th right there. Ahead of the 75 of Rick Mast, Kenny Wallace in the 81, and there you see the 12, Jeremy Mayfield. 14th spot about to change hands. Labonte's got it. Craven's going to have to work to get back in line. Hutch Strickland has just come out of the infield care center. Steve Burns has been waiting on him. Steve?
Yeah, good news, Eli. Hut just came out. Hut, I saw your race car. It wasn't in very good shape. How are you?
I'm fine, Steve. You know, got a pretty sore tongue right now, but you know, it's just an unfortunate thing. You know, we got wrong place at the wrong time. We felt like we had a good race car today. You know, it just wasn't meant to be.
You're all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm probably going to have be pretty sore here the next 2 or 3 days, but I think we'll survive.
That's Hut Strickland done for the day. Now, I thought Craven might be able to get in line there ahead of Kenny Wallace and the others, but couldn't quite make it stick. Here comes Jeff Green in the 46. Musgrave in the 16 will try and close that inside also.
Ricky Craven's caught on the outside there in line. He's just giving up spots left and right now. You see Jeremy Mayfield making his way on the inside. Terry Labonte, one of the quickest cars in happy hour yesterday.
NASCAR timing and scoring presented by MCI here this afternoon. Here's Ricky Rudd now bypassing Ricky Craven. Joe Nemechek back. He'll be 34 laps down if you're a fan of the Nemechek plan. Joe back in the race, 34 laps in arrears. The speed some of these guys are turning, of course not Bodine and Nemechek, but all the others who are running out there. They're well shy. We're having a spread on the track right now of as much as 4 miles an hour from what Jeff Gordon's turning to some of the fellows nearer to the back of the field.
Interesting, those speeds have not dropped off very much from when they got brand new tires on these cars, and that leads to the conclusion that we could see some interesting pit strategy with 2 tire changes, maybe some no tire changes at the end.
We saw that last year. A lot of guys going with 2 tire changes to improve track position, short pitting. We've also seen that. You come in just a bit early to try and force other people's hands or take advantage of when they do make a pit stop. 69 of 300 laps complete.
You see Kyle Petty's dropped back a little bit, and it's obvious why. You can see the tail end of the 44 there. It's very, very wide coming off the corner, sliding around just a little bit. I'm sure he's loose. He's in 10th place now, ahead of Dale Earnhardt at 11th, and Kenny Schrader 12th. Well, Ernie's hanging in there, but he may lose his spot. Oh, Kyle is loose. Oh, goodness.
Interesting art on the door, isn't it?
Yeah, that's early American donut.
These 2 guys are working this traffic very, very well. Just a few laps back, you watch the 3 of Earnhardt fighting with Darrell Waltrip trying to get by him. Now he's about a quarter of a straightaway ahead of him.
Up front, it's still about 3/10 of a second. There you see the spread from Jeff Gordon back to Jeff Burton. Dale Jarrett is 3rd. We're still early on a beautiful day here in New Hampshire. CNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by the more than 2,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Riding with Jeff Burton here at New Hampshire International Speedway, Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Matt Yoakum. Glad you are with us. That's the battle for the lead right now. They are 2.5 seconds. Gordon and Jeff Burton are ahead of third place Dale Jarrett. Mike Skinner in fourth, and Mark Martin, who's now coming in a hurry. He's fifth, but it is 8 seconds from first place back to fifth. That's the kind of pace those two fellas are setting right now.
Eli, we watched this. This is like watching a replay of last year. Jeff Burton is very, very strong on long runs. Jeff Gordon leading the race in the early stages.
There you saw the 2.5-second look back to Dale Jarrett running in third. They have just put a lap on Gary Bradbury, and here goes Burton for the lead. Got him over between turns 1 and 2.
Made that look easy,
Effortless,
didn't he?
I was going to say.
Yeah, well, he'd been dogging Gordon, and he might fall back a little bit, but then he'd get right on Gordon's bumper, and then boom, and look at the lead he has opened up on Jeff Gordon at this little time.
Well, he didn't just move over and let him by there. He slipped over in turn 2 and got out of the groove and got up into some of the marbles or loose stuff on the outside of the groove there, and got a little sideways.
If you're a Sterling Marlin fan, they have taken the car behind the wall after some of the problems they had earlier. There you see the spread back all the way now to 4th and 5th spot. Skinner and Mark Martin. They are running 4th and 5th. They are 8 seconds behind the leader, and give that spot to Mark Martin.
Well, Martin had a tough qualifying run. It had rained here just before qualifying, and a lot of guys that went early, Martin was one of them, said they didn't like the racetrack. Martin said he just took what he could get out of it, didn't push the car, didn't want to wreck it. But everybody knew he was going to be fast in the race, and he is.
If I was Skinner right now, I can't think of anybody I'd want to follow more than Mark Martin. He's got a good groove. He's in like a zone right now. You can see the groove panel there on the Skinner car vibrating a little bit in the straightaway. Martin slips a little bit there, but he's got a great groove out of the corner. Look how straight it runs towards the straightaway.
That's one of those low snout cars. Same car that Morgan Shepherd drove at Martinsville, and Skinner really hasn't as much experience in a low snout car as some of the others. What are we talking about when we describe a car that way, buddy?
Eli, it's a real simple thing to explain. All the running gear has been moved down on the chassis part of the car, so you actually get the running gear lower on the racetrack. It makes it turn in a lot better.
Good setup for a flat track, not for a high bank crash. Oh, look at Nemechek's car, or what's left of it.
He is 34 laps down, and now he comes down the pit lane for service here at lap number 82. There you see Burton, the 99, trying to get around Johnny Benson and put him a lap down. Benson's running 32nd in car 26. That new paint scheme, the Betty Crocker colors, were to have been on the car at Daytona, but what with the postponement of the Pepsi 400 until October 17th, they're running those colors here, and Benson and Miss Crocker go a lap down.
It's almost impossible to believe right now that Jeff Burton is this far along in the year without winning with this dominant race car that you're watching right now. He's just mowing everybody down, but has not won in 98.
Right, he's led at Vegas, he led at Darlington in Texas, he led at Dover, led at Michigan, led at Pocono, but he hasn't won a race. Jeff Gordon now is a full second behind Glenn.
Yeah, you know, I've been watching the clocks and talking to Ray Evernham, and Jeff has reported the car's gotten a little bit loose. Buddy, you were right on the nose when Burton got under him. He did get a little loose there, and Jeff got under him. He's been driving away. Dale Jarrett also reports his car is just a little bit loose. We're on lap 84 right now. Ray told me that they thought they could go easily to lap 90 or 95, so they're starting to stir around down here. Talk about the things they're going to do to the cars to adjust them when they make those stops. But bear in mind, if they make green flag stops, they just don't have as much time to make adjustments.
Working now, lap number 85. There's Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, and Ken Schrader. 9th 10th and 11th. Ernie Irvan right behind in that Skittles car. He's running 12th.
Eli, Rusty's off the pace just a little bit. He was running second just a little while ago and has dropped all the way to 9th now.
That's Ronnie, the car he's driving here today. He's running in 16 races, and it's always run well. 3 wins and 9 top 5s. Heck, he has 12 top 10s in the 16 races that he's run. Ronnie, but settling in for the ride right now in 9th spot.
He's another guy. You look at his record this year and wonder why Rusty Wallace has not won 3 or 4 or 5 races.
Got to have a little bit of that racing luck sometime. As here comes the pole sitter to be lapped on the racetrack. The 99, Jeff Burton, the race leader, puts Craven in 30th spot, a lap down. You see the 21, Michael Waltrip, he has been lapped. 30, Derek Cope, he has been lapped.
I could see Ricky Craven's car a little tail happy there also.
Yeah.
I think he has a loose condition in that race car. And right now, everybody's needing to adjust on these cars just a little bit. They're never perfect on the first stop.
It's tough to get out of a lap. Real tough to get out of a lap this early.
There is Craven. A lap down at lap 88. We're roughly 7 laps or so away from expected pit stops on this track that measures just over a mile, 1.058 miles around.
Boy, it'd be tough to say you needed to adjust on the 99 the way it runs on long runs. Jeff Burton really has this thing dialed in. Looks like he can go anywhere he wants to on the racetrack.
You saw Jerry Nadeau being bypassed there seconds ago.
Yeah, Nadeau's in the pits right now.
Here he comes in.
This is a backup car. Wrecked his primary car at happy hour last night.
Had his first accident actually on Friday morning. He was in practice and then found himself in the wall then as well. Bobby Hamilton is in for pit service.
We're at lap 90. They'll all be finding a way into the pits very, very soon.
We had teams pit as early as lap number 4. Here comes Darrell Waltrip in for service. He's in now at lap number 90. Crew going to work there. Felipe Lopez, the crew chief on that car.
Eli, I have not seen a wrench go on that race car. I think Darrell Waltrip just very happy with the car at the moment. They're cleaning the grill there, getting ready to go back in action.
By the way, Philippe and his wife Angela are new parents, twin girls who were born on the 29th of June, Sydney Francis and Ashley Collette. Now here come many of the leaders in. There you see Chad Little, Ernie Irvan is in, Rick Mast, Green. Here comes Rich Bickle. Let's go to pit road.
And Chad Little's in. They just made a chassis adjustment to the right rear of the 97 of Chad Little. Right side tires are already on. This is a good pit stop for this team. Chad said they're trying to work on consistency. A little trouble on the left front of the 97. 22.3 seconds.
More pit stops now. Lap number 92. Kenny Schrader is in. Kenny Wallace is in. The new leader now is Jeff Gordon as the 99 peels off the racetrack. So Jeff Burton is in, and Jeff Gordon reassumes the lead here at lap number 93. Steve Burns.
Chad's teammate Jeff Burton is in right in the pit stall behind him. They're not making any chassis adjustments to the 99. That's how good. They're just going to make air pressure adjustments on the car of Jeff Burton. Let's check in now with Glenn Jarrett.
And Dale Jarrett brings the 8840, and guys, he was completely out of gas. The engine is off right now. It has not refired. It will be a 4-tire stop and a chassis adjustment. The car was getting a little loose, so they're going to put some bite in the left rear. And one of the things that they're also doing is they've got the can of ether out there to spray it to try to help him refire it. Here's Matt.
Mark Martin's already down and away. A 4-tire pit stop for Mark. No chassis adjustments. He says his car was perfect.
There you see they're having problems getting Jarrett going, and finally that Ford kicks in. Terry Labonte in for service, lap number 94. Gordon is the race leader. There he is. Ahead of him, Schrader is already stopped, and We'll be expecting to see Gordon in shortly. Kyle Petty will make a pit stop here at lap number 94. He and the Hot Wheels team having a good run. He's third at the moment before heading down the pit lane. All of this under green. We've had 3 cautions. And here comes Jeff Gordon now. Gordon will pit at lap number 95. That is going to hand the lead to Mike Skinner. So Skinner takes the lead, and Gordon is heading to his pit stall.
And they're waiting on him, Eli. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment. Also, as I told you, Jeff's reporting the car just a little bit too loose for his liking. He brings in now, obviously, this will be a 4-tire stop. No fuel problems for Gordon. He's still running. We've got the clock on him. These guys have been busting off some great pit stops lately. There you can see the chassis adjustment made on the right rear of the car as they move around to the left side. The jack is up now. And the tires go on. The critical thing here now is on these green flag runs, he's down and away in 19 seconds flat. Critical thing is to get as much fuel in that car as possible.
Here comes Mike Skinner now. That will make Bobby Labonte your race leader. So Bobby Labonte will pick up 5 points for leading at lap number 96 as Skinner is in with Larry McReynolds and the boys working Matt Yoakum.
They're going to make a small chassis adjustment to the 31 car. He says his car was just a tick tight. They're also going to add a ½ pound of air to the right rear to try to loosen him up just a little bit. They started the race a little bit tight, thinking the track would go loose. 18.8 seconds, but the car did not really go to the loose side too much, so they made some adjustments.
So Bobby Labonte, now the race leader. 98 laps complete here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Green flag pit stops underway. We're back on TNN Motorsports in a moment. We are back. Jimmy Spencer was the race leader at lap number 100 through 102. But Jimmy went wide moments ago and had to roll the car down, and that's when Bill Elliott took the lead. Here's what happened to Spencer before.
See Spencer losing the back of the car, getting in the corner, still chasing it up the hill, lucky not to spin. As he gets up in the loose stuff, you can almost see the rubber dust and all flying up off the back of the car as he's out of the groove.
So that gives the lead to the 94 of Bill Elliott. First time he has ever led here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Backtracking for you, if you're keeping some stats at home or want to know if your favorite has led a lap, Jeff Burton, of course, led from lap 78 through 92. Jeff Gordon has led. Mike Skinner has led. Bobby Labonte has led. Jimmy Spencer and now Bill Elliott having taken the lead at lap 103. So that's where we stand here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. They issue some pretty good pit times. Of course, notice the differential there. Nadu doing as we might have guessed, buddy, using that the 2-tire stop to improve track position.
Track position is so important. If you want to see what making a pit stop for fresh tires does for you, the 88 of Dale Jarrett just made a stop just a second ago. Bill Elliott's running very well, but just in 1 lap, he has about a 6 or 7 car length lead there.
Jarrett is in 17th position now, remember. Jarrett is on the tail end of the lead lap in the 88 car. And there you see the pit summaries. Jarrett from 3rd to 17th. Skinner from 5th to 11th. If you're curious about Spencer, remember when he was involved in that accident way back on lap 34, that's why he is on a different pit schedule when the accident with Lake Speed and Nemechek and Hudd and all those fellas. Spencer came in for service and had fuel put on. That's why he's on a different pit schedule right now. The 97 right there, unlapping himself. Chad Little becomes now the 18th driver on the lead lap. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. There goes Jeff Gordon working his way through traffic. He with Mark Martin in the 6th behind him. They go past Trickle, and now they're 7th and 8th on the leaderboard.
Mark Martin is absolutely flying. He's run Jeff Gordon down from about a 10-car length deficit and just 2 or 3 laps there. So the 6th car, Mark Martin, very, very good.
It looks good, too, didn't it, buddy? I mean, it looked as if that car was real smooth going through the corners.
If if you're keeping tabs on Joe Nemechek, he is on the track 34 laps down. Jeff Bodine, who was in that accident, is back. He is 59 laps down. If you're a Sterling Marlin fan, after losing the tire and then taking out all the panels and so on, he is 34 laps down as well.
And if you're a Mark Martin fan, let's remind you, he has yet to win here, but he could well do it today. He's led 4 out of 6 events here. He's won 2 poles, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th at this place, never won 8. Maybe today.
Maybe today is right, because you could see he went by the early leader in this race, Jeff Gordon, pretty effortless. That car is sticking like glue in the corner.
Martin's not won here, nor at Daytona, nor at Indianapolis, nor Pocono. Of course, 3 of his 4-point wins this year have come at tracks where he had never won before. Las Vegas, Texas, and California. Yeah, maybe today is the day again. Welcome back. Bill Elliott is in at lap 112. Let's get the update.
And right side tires going on. They're also making a chassis adjustment to the right rear. Just 2 tires for Bill Elliott. Little strategy here. 2 tires for Bill Elliott.
So he and Jerry Nadeau among those who've gone with 2 tires. Jimmy Spencer took over the lead, but that was just momentary because the 99, Jeff Burton, just swept right by him going into the corner. And the 99 Exide Ford, now the leader again.
Yeah, Jimmy Spencer giving up great track position right now by staying out on the racetrack because he has great fuel mileage from stopping earlier in the race. But right now, Jeff Burton passed him and put about a 15-car length lead on him in that 1 lap there.
When Jeff Burton won here last July, he led 99 laps on that afternoon, so it was not a fluke, as we have caution. Caution for Rick Mast in the wall in turn 1. Rick Mast, running in 20th spot, has brought out the caution. Lap number 115, as up the limited 12-degree banking he went and didn't stop till the wall grabbed him. So caution on the Speedway. Leaders coming off turn number 4 right now. And here comes Bobby Hamilton to unlap himself. And indeed, Hamilton does beat Burton back to the stripe. So Bobby Hamilton is now legal in the 4 and will come back around to make up a lap.
Let me just point out one thing. Jimmy Spencer's sitting in pretty good shape now. He gets to make his pit stop under the caution, adjust on the car. He'll have fresh tires, where these other guys have been several laps now on new tires, and they're beginning to wear down.
Right, the first of the beginning of this pit stops came at lap 88. We're now at 115, so we're well down the line here. The big names, if you will, pitted for the most part, lap 92, lap 93, 94, and so on. Even at that, you're 20 laps better than 20 miles down the road. So you're right, a whole different pit stop sequence now that we'll be seeing unfold here in the Jiffy Lube 300. Under caution for the 4th time today as the fans enjoy the Souvenir Midway here in New Hampshire. We are back in New Hampshire. Hope you've had a chance to check out the NASCAR Thunder store nearest to you. If not, you need to do so. Go on into the official store of NASCAR. Open in cities all across the country. And you can call that phone number you see on the screen and get information about the store located nearest to your home. NASCAR Thunder, the all-new and official store of NASCAR. Well, enough of our guessing about pit strategies and all. Now we know how long you can go until the next caution, because everybody else comes in, you got to come in too. Everybody is pitted here at lap 116 and 117 for fresh tires and fuel. Some taking 4 tires, some taking 2.
Eli, these spotters are so sharp. They were looking at Jimmy Spencer out there on used tires compared to Jeff Burton when he come up on him there to pass him. And I mean, it wasn't even close. It was like a second difference per lap on fresh tires. So everybody couldn't take the gamble. They had to get in here and get fresh tires.
There is the First Plus race summary brought to you by First Plus Financial. At First Plus, we're working first for you. You see the average speed way down. The track record is 117.134 miles an hour. Jeff Burton's numbers here a year ago, but with only 2 cautions that day, and today already 4. There's Rick Mast. He's been in now for 3 visits to the pit lane after tagging the wall over there in turn number 1. As we said, back in 1990, he won the last of his 9 NASCAR Busch Series wins here. There is Gary Bradbury Subbing in the Tabasco car, not really a relief driver because Todd Bodine was released by that operation. Bradbury in for this week only, another driver to be announced in time for the race coming up in a couple of weeks' time at Pocono. That's a strange deal. I think it's clear to a lot of folks Todd Bodine did not forget how to drive a race car from one year to the next. But at the same time, that's a good piece of equipment, too. It's so much communication in this business.
Chemistry, chemistry, chemistry. You can have a great team, you can have a great driver, and if things just don't properly mesh, you don't have success. When it meshes well, boy, it just seems as if you can do no wrong at all. Look at Gordon's bunch as a good example of that kind of chemistry, or Dale Jarrett's group is a team that has got terrific chemistry.
Bradbury being shown in 35th spot as Gordon is now in 2nd spot. Glenn Jarrett, we're about a lap from going back to green. Let's review some of the pit stops here.
Okay, Eli, Jeff Gordon came in under that caution. He took 2 tires and fuel. So did Kyle Petty. Dale Jarrett came in, and he took fuel only. That was a big break for him because he lost so much time when he ran out of gas. Ernie Irvin came in for 2 in fuel, and Ricky Craven, the post hitter, who's already gone a lap down, he came in the 2nd time around. He took 4 tires and made major chassis adjustments. Let's go to Steve.
Hey, Glenn, Dale Earnhardt made some major adjustments as well on that 3 car. They raised the track bar, and they also pulled a spring rubber out of the right front. It was a very lengthy stop. The 99 of Jeff Burton, 2 tires only, no chassis adjustments. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, that caution came out as a big break for Mark Martin. In the last round of pit stops, they were in such a hurry to get Mark off pit road for track position. They did not get enough fuel in the car. So when that caution came out, that allowed them to come back in, put in 11 gallons of fuel, make an adjustment on the car, because the car was just tick tight. Also, John Andretti, they came in, took on 2 tires, no adjustments. John likes the way the car is handling.
Glenn mentioned Dale Jarrett was 14th, now 6th after the pit stop of moments ago. About set to go back to green.
Pick it up. Green flag. Green flag. Green flag. Green flag.
And they roll off into the corner again. The 99, Jeff Burton showing the way. Gordon in 2nd in the 24. And from overhead, we watch Mike Skinner stay right with him. Man, he's running well today.
He is that. The car has been up front all day long. Larry McReynolds turning the wrenches on that car this weekend. His crew chief is doing a great job. Mike Skinner, probably his best run since Daytona this year.
Yeah, in Daytona, he was 8th, and that was his only top 10 finish of the year. Through traffic, the 6th, Mark Martin right there. He is in 4th spot. The green car, Bobby Labonte, he is running in 5th. The 43 with the STP colors, John Andretti is in 6th. Dale Jarrett now in 7th. The 2 of Rusty Wallace, he's running 8th. As they all go inside of Dick Trickle off the corner.
Well, you watch that number 43. Remember, Bobby Hamilton was in that car last year, and they had great runs in both races. Finished 3rd here in September. That's a team that's got a good book on this racetrack for sure.
They've had a good book on flat tracks, even at the end of Richard Petty's driving days when things weren't going all that well for the King. At Pocono and the other tracks that were flat, Rich was always a factor.
Well, they have a guy there that's not the crew chief anymore, but has been with Petty Engineering forever and ever, Dale Inman.
Yeah.
He's like almost like a consultant for the team, and he don't let them get too far off base as far as what really works and what does not work.
And they got a driver who last race here at Winston Cup had his best finish of 1998. Great run for John Andretti out at Sonoma.
124 laps down. 176 remaining as Jarrett now gets around Labonte right there to grab 7th. Jarrett in the 88, Labonte the green 18. And there's old Kyle back in the picture now, running up near the front earlier. He is now in 9th spot, and the yellow number 1 of Darrell Waltrip is in 10th.
Darrell Waltrip said, "How am I doing?" "Just fine, thank you." The car's right on the bottom of the racetrack, doing very well. Looks to me that Jeremy Mayfield has a good car now, too.
Engine failure, the story on Gary Bradbury and the Tabasco team. Done for the day. There they are going back to the garage. Engine failure. Meanwhile, 2nd place is tightening up just a bit. Oh, Mike Skinner turning it up a bit against Jeff Gordon. Looks Looks like Skinner gets him into the corner, and Gordon pulls him through and off the corner.
You know, Mike Skinner was the champion in the Craftsman Truck Series, and he learned a lot about taking care of his tires. And I think Larry Mack is just what he needs to keep him from burning the tires off. He says, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. I think he's a great coach for Mike Skinner.
And you know where he coaches him best? It's on the radio every single lap. Skinner loves to hear that, and Larry McReynolds is talking to him constantly during the running of the race, telling him what to do. And, oh, we've got a problem on the racetrack.
Rich Bickle is in the wall. Rich Bickle is in the wall, and we have caution on the Speedway in turn number 4. There goes Ted Musgrave in the wall now. Musgrave tags the wall at the other end of the Speedway. Musgrave running in the 18th position. So Bickle first at 28th spot, and then Musgrave right there at the other end of the racetrack.
You can see Ted Musgrave moving around inside the car. That's a good sign right there. A lot of damage to the rear end of that race car, though.
Under caution. There you see Bickle having pulled away in the Thornapple Valley Meets entry for Cale Yarborough Motorsports.
Bickle said this morning that this racetrack, this race today, was his best shot to have a great finish all year long, and it just went up in smoke. Flat left rear tire.
We'll check the replays when we come back as Ted Musgrave gets set to climb from his race car. Jeff Burton continues to lead under caution in New Hampshire. Welcome back. Is it a full moon? We're seeing some strange stuff today. Both ends of the racetrack, single car incidents, or at least we think they're single car incidents. Jimmy Spencer has come down pit road, said there was a fire in his car. There's Rich Bickle up there in turn 4. We just kind of got a glimpse of that as he was alone going into the wall as best we could tell. Then the other end of the track, watch Ted Musgrave.
The 16 there on the outside of Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace loses the back end and gets up into Musgrave. Musgrave turns around and goes hard into the outside wall.
Ooh, he did nail it.
That was a good lick.
Yeah.
Videotape replays are wonderful. And now Jimmy Spencer is back in. Steve, last he came in, he was yelling on the radio that he thought he had a fire inside the race car.
Yeah, they've handed him 3 bottles of water, Eli, and this team is hot. In addition, he is being held on pit road. The crew chief, Donnie Wingo, is furious with the NASCAR officials. Steve Peterson, in this case, trying to get a clarification. As soon as we can talk to him, we'll get a clarification for the viewers. As I said, Jimmy Spencer continuing to sit on pit road. They've handed him 3 or 4 bottles of water. Looks like now he's going to pull away.
We'll get to the bottom of that in just a moment or so, and we come back. We are under caution here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Caution for the 5th time with Jeff Burton continuing to lead. We are back at New Hampshire International Speedway, middle stages of this day's running of the Jiffy Lube 300. Jeff Burton is the race leader, took over the top spot at lap 114. We're under caution here now at lap 133. Jimmy Spencer back on pit road again. Steve Burns, all sorts of goings on down there.
Yeah, Donnie Wingo's heading towards pit wall right here. Donnie said there was some kind of a fire underneath the dashboard. Hey, Donnie. Donnie, 2 questions. We got a report that you had a fire, and obviously you were upset that NASCAR held you. Tell us what happened.
Well, I mean, something caught on fire on the dash right off that restart there, and it was burning there, so he's falling back a little bit. We got a caution, and I mean, it just started, the fire just started dripping down on his feet, and all his smoke was killing him, so he just moved up some to pit, and they held us a lap for that. I mean, that's their rules, but I mean, certain situations, you got to do what you got to do, and I guess that's what they had to do, but, you know, that's a bad deal.
It's obviously a tough break for Jimmy Spencer.
Of course, you are not allowed under the rule book to pull out and pull up actually to pit, to bypass the pace car to pit. They were looking for some dispensation there because of the circumstances of the fire, but the rule book apparently withstand right there. That's where Jimmy Spencer was held.
If fire was dripping on my feet, I would take the penalty gladly. I'd pass everything I wanted to pass.
There are a lot of guys looking for victories here in 1998. Theo getting the 1 to go signal here in just a moment. What would you have thought if we said here on the 12th of July that that group would still be looking for a victory?
Wouldn't have believed it.
No,
Wouldn't
not at all.
have believed it.
Going back to work here shortly, we break away from New Hampshire International Speedway, the Jiffy Lube 300. is live on TNN Motorsports. We're going back to work. Jimmy Spencer is in 30th, 1 lap down.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are back under green. Lap 136. Jeff Burton now the leader as we begin lap 137.
Burton got a good start. That's a good distance between himself and Gordon, but here comes Gordon anyway.
I am highly impressed with the third-place car, Mike Skinner. Getting a great run off the corner there, making a move by Bill Elliott on the outside.
Riding with Skinner as Gordon tries and does grab the lead from Jeff Burton, and Skinner grabs second.
This is absolutely his best run of the year, hands down. Skinner having a great day today.
Jeff Burton says, we're going to make you earn it, though, as he looks to the inside, heading back down into turn 1. You can see Mike Skinner closing the door on him as they go down into turn 1.
Riding with Skinner, who missed 3 races this year due to those accidents in Atlanta and Texas.
Had a long talk with Skinner yesterday about driving the way he's been driving, and he says it is so hard to drive in constant pain. But the pain is about gone, and it shows. He's running so well today.
You can pick out your favorite right there. There's Kenny Irwin going by in that 28 machine. He's in 35th, some 13 laps down. No, still running pretty well is Ernie Irvin there, the 36 car on the outside group. Just got a glimpse of Ernie moving up. He's now in 14th spot, former winner here.
Jeremy Mayfield on the move in the 12, just in front of Darrell Waltrip in the yellow car there. He's moving quite well. Kenny Schrader right in there. A group of good race cars there. Ernie Irvin there. You can see Earnhardt. He's still trying. They made major adjustments on the car on the pit stop there. Caught on the outside right now. They say that's not the preferred line, but it looks pretty good.
You know, later in the day yesterday, too, in the Featherlight Modified Tour race and the Busch North Series race, the outside became, for many drivers, the preferred way to go.
Well, you can see right there, he closed in on Waltrip on the inside, actually making the pass as they come off the corner there.
There's Earnhardt and Waltrip battling for 13th and 14th, and here goes Skinner for the lead.
Mike Skinner pulls about a half a fender ahead down the back straightaway, but Gordon fighting back. Hey, Gordon's going to third if he's not careful.
Skinner leads for only the second time this year. He led 1 lap in the Daytona 500 and now leads here today on the 12th of July.
Oh, you can see, though, Jeff Burton was giving him a lot of pressure as they come off turn 4 down into 1. They pull even on each other.
Give it to Burton now, and can Skinner keep Gordon at bay?
The answer is yes. He got a great run off turn 2 there. You can see right now, they got a lot of traffic back there as John Andretti makes a move.
This is the best fight for the lead that we have seen all day as well. Really racy up front today.
Mark Martin, the fastest car in happy hour yesterday, he's moving up also.
Running in 5th. So there it is again. Burton the leader, Skinner in 2nd, Andretti in 3rd, Gordon now in 4th. As we ride with the race leader and look back towards Mike Skinner, whose best finish in 59 races is the 6th he had at Pocono in July of last year. So this is not only basically his best performance of this year, best performance in about the last 12 months.
See Mike Skinner in the 31 there, and another car that's moved up very, very well after pit stops is Rusty Wallace. He has moved into contention now.
Way out of the throttle going into the corners here. Use a good bit of brake to set the car to get it in, pick up the throttle, drive it out.
That's Rusty Wallace looking to the inside of Mark Martin as they come down the front straightaway. They couldn't make the power move on the inside. Martin got a better run off the corner.
Let's go to the Mike Skinner pit.
Eli, 2 years ago, Larry McReynolds came to New Hampshire with Ernie Irvin with a drop snout car. They went to victory lane, giving Ernie his comeback win. Last year, McReynolds was with Dale Earnhardt. He talked Dale into trying a drop snout car for the first time here at New Hampshire. He nearly won, finishing 2nd. Today's car, a drop snout car, almost the same exact setup as Ernie Irvin drove to victory 2 years ago. Coach Coach McReynolds has been telling Mike Skinner, be patient. We've got a long way to go. Try not to over-abuse the right rear tire. Right now, Mike says the car feels great, so I'm going to push the button. There's just, it's up to you, but try not to wear out those tires. And right now, they're pretty happy with the way the car is handling.
One would assume his lap of 125.7 miles an hour last time by. Not the fastest on the racetrack, but funny enough to hang on to second right now.
Well, the fastest car, obviously, is Jeff Burton out in the lead, but John Andretti is putting on a freight race in the 43. They're running third place right now. The car is able to run just a little lower line right now than Mike Skinner.
Lap 146 with 155 remaining to settle this one.
Burton's opened up a pretty good lead for himself, as racy as that was just a few laps ago. Once he got out in the clear, he was gone.
Just joining us, Rich Bickles in the garage. So is Ted Musgrave, Gary Bradbury, Leighton Speed, Hutch Strickland, and Steve Grissom all done for the day. Matter of fact, Rich Bickle has been joined by Steve Burns down in the garage area.
Rich, there's a lot of damage, looks like, to the suspension parts on the right front. Can you get back out?
Yeah, we're going to get it back out. It's kind of unfortunate. We had one of the top 3 cars here in practice yesterday. Sun come out today and the car was a little tight. We come in, we got lucky, we got a yellow in Thornapple Valley Ford, and I guess the 97 car, the way I look at it, if he knocks another 27 cars and lead lap out, he can win this race.
Well, obvious Rich Bickle has an opinion about what happened to put him out today.
But they'll get that Cale Yarborough-owned car back out. Meanwhile, good scramble between Irvin in the 36 and Earnhardt in the 3. This is for 12th spot.
Yeah, that's a battle that can't be moved and something that can't be stopped right there. Right now, Earnhardt gets a little advantage, though.
More looking inside.
Listening to Ernie Irvin's radio.
Tell you, Ricky Rudd's having a good day for himself as well in that 10 car. They weren't sure they had the right setup in that thing, so they've got it absolutely loaded with spring rubbers. 3 of them in the right rear spring. They had one in the right front, one in the left front, just to be sure they could adjust the car. Looks like they got it pretty good right now.
We're coming up to halfway here at New Hampshire International Speedway. $10,000 on the line from the folks at Gatorade for leading the halfway point in this and every race. And don't forget, too, that at the end of this race today, a $30,000 payout to Gatorade, or by Gatorade, to the leader of NASCAR Winston Cup points at the halfway point of the season. It was to have been paid out at Daytona, being paid out here today.
Ernie Irvin having all kind of trouble in the 36 right now. The back of the car is just waving around. He got passed by about 4 cars in the last couple of laps, and you see Jeff Green going to the inside there. Oh, contact.
That's 17th and 18th up in smoke.
This has been a very physical race so far. A lot of bumping and banging out there. They're kind of driving as if this is a quarter-mile or a half-mile speedway.
I think Green did himself in there on the right front, too. He's got the sheet metal in on that tire.
Don't get loose. Head forward.
So just past halfway, the Wrangler mid-race report, sponsored by Wrangler Jeans, will show you 7 leaders, 14 lead changes. The man on your screen, Jeff Burton, is the leader of the moment. Race slowed 5 times by caution. We're live on TNN Motorsports. More in a moment. We are back at New Hampshire International Speedway. Don't forget, you can get all the details of this race and read Buddy Baker's comments and a whole host of other good stuff on our home on the internet, country.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect at country.com. Well, why don't we see where everybody is running right now? There's the race leader, Jeff Burton, just past halfway. He has a 2 1/10 second lead on the field right now. That is Joe Nemechek. Nemechek is in 39th position, 47 laps down. He was involved in that accident early in the day. There's Mike Skinner now, that Lowe's machine, number 31. He is in second, 2.4 seconds back as we ride with him around New Hampshire International Speedway. In third spot, you've got Jeff Gordon. Gordon is now 3.5 seconds behind the leader. There he is going past the 91 of Andy Hillenberg. Gordon is in third. The 6 of Mark Martin is in fourth. We're riding with Mark right now and the Valvoline team. And you saw Hillenberg moments ago on that 91. He is in 32nd spot, being shown 3 laps down. There is Hillenberg in the 91. Behind him, the 5th place runner, Rusty Wallace, in the 2. And John Andretti in the 43. They are 5th and 6th, respectively, 5.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton. They'll get around the lap machine of Hillenberg. As we look further back to the next man in line, Kyle Petty. There he is, the Hot Wheels Pontiac. He's in 7th, and he's 7.4 seconds back of the race leader. Dale Jarrett right there running in 8th. He's 8.5 seconds behind Jeff Burton, running in 8th spot. There's Jeremy Mayfield, number 2 in points. He is number 9 on the scoreboard today in 9th place, 9.5 seconds back. Then Bill Elliott's machine. Bill is in 26th right now, 2 laps down. Behind Bill Elliott on the racetrack is the 33 of Ken Schrader. He's in 10th place, 10.5 seconds out of the race lead. Then you have Dick Trickle's machine. He's in 27th, the lap down. The Heilig-Myers Ford for Junie Donlevy. Then you pull further back and you wait a while. And you wait a while and find Bobby Labonte, who is now 13 seconds behind the leader, running in 11th place. The Interstate Batteries entry. Then you've got Dale Earnhardt right there in the number 3 car. He's running in 12th. He is 13.5 seconds back. Jimmy Spencer is behind him in 28th spot. Jimmy is a lap down. So Spencer in 28th, 1 lap down behind Earnhardt, who is running 12th. Darrell Waltrip in that yellow number 1. DW is in 13th. He's 14 seconds behind the leader. Ricky Rudd in the Tide number 10. He's 14th on the track now. There is Ricky. And Terry Labonte right behind, running in 15th. Then comes Kenny Wallace. He's in 16th, also on the lead lap. He's 15 seconds behind the race leader. Then you come to Jeff Green. He's on the lead lap in 17th. He's 17 seconds behind Jeff Burton. Then Ernie Irvin in the 36 car right there. And Bobby Hamilton in the 4. They are 18th and 19th, respectively. 14 seconds behind the leader. Chad Little is on the lead lap. He's that green and yellow number 97 that's going to pop into your screen just behind Hamilton. There's Hamilton going for a spot. He'll grab 18th, and Chad Little right there is running in 20th. Chad is 19 and 7/10 seconds behind the race leader, Jeff Burton. Jerry Nadeau next in the picture. Nadeau's had problems today. He's running in 29th, 2 laps down in the First Plus Financial team. Then you look back from Jerry Nadeau and find Brett Bodine. Brett is in 21st spot. He is also being shown on the lead lap. He's 23 seconds behind the leader. Then Ward Burton right there. He's also on the lead lap in the 22 car. He's in 22nd position. And by the way, you see that logo, Inside Outdoors? It's a new TV show, 30 Minutes, which debuted here on TNN back on July the 4th. All about the tactics and techniques used by most of these successful outdoor enthusiasts. They even throw a few bloopers in for a few laughs. That is a show called Inside Outdoors, family-oriented, 30 Minutes on TNN. It debuted for the first time back on Saturday, July the 4th. Behind Ward Burton, there's the Betty Crocker car. Johnny Benson, he's in 23rd spot right now. Then behind Johnny Benson, you'll find Michael Waltrip. Michael is in 24th position. Of course, these cars now a lap down. There's Kenny Irwin. He's more than a lap down. He's going to be 14 down in 33rd spot. The 30 is Derek Cope. And Derek is in 25th position. He is a lap down in the come-out Pontiac. 77 is Robert Presley. He's in 34th, 18 laps behind the race leader, Jeff Burton. Then 37, Jeff Bodine. He is 60 laps down in 40th. Our pole sitter, Ricky Craven, 3 laps down in 31st. Sterling Marlin, he'll be 38 laps down in 35th position. As we look from Craven backwards towards the Sterling Marlin car as they work race traffic. Of course, in the garage already, Hutch Strickland, Steve Grissom, Lake Speed, Gary Bradbury, Ted Musgrave, and Rich Bickle. And now we cycle back around to our race leader, Jeff Burton. So everybody is out there or accounted for in one way or another. As we are in lap 170 of 300 here in New Hampshire, Jeff Burton leading the Jiffy Lube 300. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Wrangler. And by Exide NASCAR Select, the official automotive battery of NASCAR. With Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns, I'm Eli Gold. Welcome back to New Hampshire. John Andretti and Dale Jarrett running in that order now. Here's what happened a couple of laps ago on the racetrack.
Oh, John Andretti got really loose coming off turn 2 there. Rusty Wallace was able to go to the inside. No contact, no foul.
And racing remains under green. A lot of little problems beginning to crop up on the racetrack as far as different teams as Jeff Burton closes in on both the lap cars of Robert Presley and Derek Cope. Cope's a lap down. Presley is 18 laps down. Well, Sears Point wasn't great, but all the others will be pretty darn good right there. Trying to be a little patient here.
Hit it right on the head there. That's what you have to do. When you come up on lap traffic, you got to remember they're just a couple of tenths slower than the race leader. So you have to use a lot of caution not to get yourself maybe chopped off getting in the corner and create a problem.
Spent a little time yesterday in his truck with Jeff Burton, and I asked him how come he does so well at this place, and he just got a big, broad smile on his face. He said, I love this place. And the first thing he pointed to, Buddy, was it requires patience. He said this place has room for instant aggressiveness, but mostly you have to be patient.
And he showed it right there.
Sure did.
He got up under Derek Cope and just backed out. He realizes he has the car to beat today. If he does anything foolish, hey, he'll be in the wall so fast.
He's led the most laps already today, Steve Burns.
You know, one of the other reasons he runs so well is his crew chief, Frankie Stoddard. This is Frank's first season as a crew chief on the 99 car, and he's from nearby North Haverhill, New Hampshire. Now, Frank is a really young guy, as I said, just 30 years old, but he's been in racing for 21 years. As a 9-year-old, he worked for NASCAR Busch North Star Stub Fadden. So 21 years he's been in the sport.
And he came down off that war wagon in a hurry.
Eli, Jeff Burton's losing valuable time right now. He's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit. He's losing time by being behind Cope now. So, hey, see what I mean?
Oh, you don't want to see that in front of you when you're the leader.
But you don't want to go 3 wide to get around him either with that going on.
You can't. Not here.
No, but he's looking to the outside of Cope. He tried the inside several times. Now he's taking a peep on the outside, but you can see the inside lane is much quicker. Derek loses a little grip right there. Look for Burton to go under him and try to pass him, getting into 3.
It's time to go.
Sayonara.
Yeah. You know, we're talking about Frankie Stoddard a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
Stoddard last night was absolutely exhausted from changing that engine and transmission, thinking about going to the hotel, started to leave the place, found some friends who had a camper here. They said, Frankie, don't go to your hotel. We'll take care of you. They cooked him a steak dinner, put him up for the night, got him up a little bit late this morning, fixed him breakfast, sent him off. Everybody in the garage is envious.
Isn't that something?
The hot ticket.
So Jeff Burton got around. Watch that again from moments ago.
Robert Presley in the 77 there. Derek Cope gets into the left rear corner. That's really just what he had to do was back out just for a second. That gives Jeff Burton a chance to run on him.
Yeah, but his 4.5-second lead is now only 2.2 seconds on Gordon here in the last 10 laps. The lead has been cut in half. So that is the byproduct of all of that. You know, we talked about northern crew chiefs. You know, Paul Andrews, great crew chief in this business for Jeremy Mayfield. He's from Bangor, Maine.
Bangor.
Pardon me. Bangor.
This is a battle for 12th place right here. Darrell Waltrip, just a little while ago, Earnhardt went by him, but you can see Darrell is fighting back. He's running down. Just behind him, Terry Labonte in the 5-car.
All on the lead lap. So is the 81 of Kenny Wallace, who's right behind those three. There's Kenny in the Square D machine. Napa timing and scoring. Brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. They keep America running. We're at lap 184, complete. Well past halfway in the Jiffy Lube 300.
Tell you what, this is a contact sport today. You see Johnny Benson getting a shot there from the 21 of Michael Waltrip down in the corner.
Benson's in trouble. Flat left front.
Left front for Johnny Benson goes down.
He's out of harm's way. He's out of the racing groove as you see him bypassing on the right side there.
This is the stuff I guess Rusty Wallace was talking about when he said New Hampshire's the roughest 300 miles in big league stock car racing.
Lap 186. That Ford Taurus in for service. Meanwhile, up front, Jeff Burton in the 99, finally around Robert Presley, has already put Michael Waltrip a lap down, and he's trying to go by him one more time. Lapping up to 23rd spot now a second time. But again, not forcing the issue.
Yeah, but he got a great run on the bottom side of the racetrack as they head down the back straightaway. He'll be able to pass Michael Waltrip going into turn 3. And here comes the 77 trying to take advantage of that move that he opened that spot up.
But it's time for Mr. Burton to check the rear view mirror because the Rainbow Warrior is on the move. What had been a 4-second lead, now only 1.1 seconds as you get the pictures here on TNN Motorsports. Glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports, midway through the Jiffy Lube 300 here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt is in 12th. In the 3, the 1, Darrell Waltrip, he's in 13th. Terry Labonte, the Iron Man, if you will, of NASCAR Winston Cup Series racing. He is running the 5 machine there in 14th spot.
Kenny Wallace in the 81 there's all over the back of Terry Labonte in the 5.
Kenny's in 15th spot at this point. Good run for him this afternoon.
And Jeff Green just behind them having a good solid run today also.
Remember, Terry Labonte led 54 of the laps here in July of '96.
Darrell
has one here.
Darrell's looking his boss over there, side by side with Dale Earnhardt as they come off turn 2. They're fighting it out right now.
That's for 12th. And Terry Labonte, we call him the Iron Man because this is his 586th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup start. And how about that?
He just give him a right rear corner there. Earnhardt bobbled a little bit. Terry Labonte gets by Earnhardt down the front straightaway.
Darrell just dusted off his car owner. Well, I guess Teresa technically owns the car, but Dale Earnhardt and Teresa Earnhardt, owners of that number 1. And here comes Jeff Green. That is for 15th spot now against Earnhardt.
Jeff Green also worked for Earnhardt. He drove his Grand National car a couple of years ago.
Sure did. You know, he may not be battling for the lead, Dick, but Earnhardt's going to make you earn whatever the heck you get, even if it's 16th spot.
Yep, you bet. He sure is. Yeah, we're talking about Earnhardt and the way he's been running. That
Dale.
Wow. Way up out of there.
You saw Rudd go by, so Dale is back to 19th now. Nice save.
Yeah, you talk to the guys he races against, and they'll tell you that he is running just as hard and just as well as he ever did The cars just have not been right for whatever reason.
Dale's going to go back to 20th here if Ernie Irvin on the 36 can grab a spot. And you notice they're getting him going into the corner.
Right there, Earnhardt drove very, very hard down in the corner. Ernie Irvin was able to pick up the throttle in the center part of the corner just a little bit quicker, so he got that one-car advantage down the back straightaway.
So Earnhardt now back to the 20th spot. And watch it again. Did his best to woe down, and at least he kept it off the wall. Watch Earnhardt again.
On the outside of Jeff Green there, you see him go in. You can see the car get very sideways there. Now he's up in the trouble part of the racetrack where there's a lot of debris, a lot of rubber buildup up there. Only Dale Earnhardt and a few others can catch one in the high part of the racetrack like that.
We're told now from the guys on pit road that Earnhardt is reporting a bad vibration. Now, could he have picked up some rubber chunks? Is that maybe what he's feeling?
I'll bet you there's a lot of rubber up there, and that rubber will stick to the hot tires, and it'll sure cause the car to want to shake.
Kenny Schrader had a vibration in his car earlier today, and Kenny's still running a solid 10th. They had reported a problem on the Skoll machine earlier today. Saw a lot of activity in the pits, and they weren't quite sure what it was. We go from Earnhardt all the way up to where Schrader is running in the 10th spot right now. There's the 33. And Steve, what was the deal? Did he have something on the tires too, or has the problem even gone away?
Eli, they're hoping that's what the problem is. They said that the vibration has been in there for about 30, 35 laps. They don't know if it's the tires or the transmission. Now, to add to that, Schrader said he noticed a smell inside the car about 5 laps ago. They want to be able to hold off until they can go the rest of the distance on gas.
Well, let's figure it out here, guys. The last pit stops were at lap, for the majority of these teams, 116. So we're looking at, heck, the window could open in as soon as another 4 laps around here, around lap 205. And that would be able to, these guys pretty well take it to the house.
Yeah, it could well just take that one more pit stop, and off they go to the end.
And here comes Earnhardt now. Whether this is scheduled or a little early because of the vibration, he is in at lap 202. Jarrett is in. Ward Burton is in. Let's go to the pits.
And Dale Earnhardt getting attention to the right side of the Twin Wrench Chevrolet. A big chassis adjustment to the right rear of the car. Going to the left side now for Dale Earnhardt. Left side's going on. Gas is in. Let's check in now with Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, Steve, Dale Jarrett has brought his Ford into the pits, and I tell you guys, remember he ran out of gas the first time. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. Car's been a little tight. It will be 4 tires of fuel. I do not believe that he will be able to go the distance after this. There's 97 laps to go. I don't believe he's going to make it. Great pit stop, 17.9 seconds.
I have to agree with Glenn. They ran out of fuel on the 93rd lap just a while ago, so yeah, I would say that he will have to stop again. Waltrip makes his stop now.
Ernie Irvin is in as well. Robert Presley in for service. All of these are scheduled under green flag conditions. We've not had a caution since back in lap 128 with those independent spins of Rich Bickle and Ted Musgrave. 18 and 3/10 seconds. Good service. Now the question is, no, maybe Jarrett and them could go the distance, but how long can these fellas here stretch it and maybe go the distance on fuel?
Eli, right now, that's what they're doing. I'm sure they're in a fuel-saving mode right now. Jeff Burton getting around the racetrack very, very well and not having to use the throttle a whole bunch to get around lap traffic. He's getting the best gas mileage he can possibly get right now.
Well, the leaders should pit here shortly. Why don't we break away real quickly and take care of some business? Back to carry you into the pit stop mode at lap 206. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Jeff Burton still leads. The only pit stop you have missed is from Jeff Bodine, who is running some 50-some-odd laps down now in 37th spot. Otherwise, everybody is still out there. Now, clearly, even the bad fuel mileage cars can go, what are we now, lap 208, so they can go the final 92 laps.
Eli, I think the next stop that Jeff Burton makes definitely will be his last. And we got a report from Earnhardt that he can go the distance.
And he pitted on 202, so he'd have 98 laps. Here's my Mike Skinner in lap 209. So the Lowe's team only has 91 laps to go from here. Matt Yoakum, you got him.
Mike Skinner heading down to his pit. Larry McReynolds already has the adjustments ready. What they're going to do, they're going to go up a half a pound on the right front air pressure. They're going to drop the track bar an eighth of an inch. And yes, they can go the distance after this pit stop. They are going to put on 4 tires, 2 cans of gasoline, and this will be his last stop.
Kenny Wallace has been in. Terry Labonte is in for service.
Eli, just so everybody would know, there after these pit stops, I want to talk about that last stop on Skinner.
Here come Andretti and Wallace. Nemechek is in. Mayfield is in. Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott. And here comes the leader, Jeff Burton. He will stop at lap 212. He'll record lap 212 on pit road, crossing the stripe. He is in. So is Mark Martin. So is Jeff Gordon. Let's go to the pits.
And Eli, let's check the strategy on these pit stops. They tear a windshield off, the visor that is, to get a clean windshield for him. Brakes started on the front tires. Brakes Cipotelli on the left. Jim Gilbert getting all the gas in the 99 car so they can go the distance. Good stop so far in the 99 car. Let's go to Glenn Sherritt.
Jeff Gordon has come in, and he had to make an evasive move to miss Rusty Wallace coming by him as he was leaving his pit. Cost him a little bit of time. Jeff has been complaining about the right rear tire sliding in the middle of the corner. It's not spinning, but sliding up the racetrack. He's down and away in 17.9 seconds. Another great stop, 4 tires and fuel.
That will hand the lead now to Chad Little, because over the last few moments, Mark Martin has pitted, so has Gordon, so has Kyle Petty. Kenny Schrader has been in. So there is your new leader, Chad Little, and the John Deere colors. We're at lap 213 now. Ricky Craven is in for service. All of these stops are scheduled and under green flag conditions. Chad Little. He has led at Bristol, Texas, California, and Pocono. This is the 5th race he has led in 1998. Winnebago Industries, the official motorhome of TNN. Stop by your local Winnebago or Itasca dealer now and see the new models available. For more information on the Winnebago Motorsports team, please give them a call at 1-800-643-4892, extension 2. Here in New Hampshire, Jeff Burton is again the race leader. Over the last few moments, Chad Little led laps 211 through 214. Brett Bodine led at lap 215, and Jeff Burton reassumes the lead now here at lap 216. But a good battle here, buddy. 7th, 8th, and 9th on the screen.
Yeah, it was a great battle. You can see Kyle Petty there driving his heart out today, doing a great job. Rusty Wallace just behind him, John Andretti in the 43. These guys have been racing very hard. So the Kenny Schrader fans out there, they think they have the car fixed. They said it was rubber buildup on the tires.
Now, fuel-wise, among the big names, everybody should be able to go the distance with the exception of Dale Jarrett. We heard that from Glenn a short while ago when Dale pitted at lap 202. Not that they're getting that poor of a fuel mileage, or the pickup is just not giving them all the fuel, apparently, out of the fuel cell. There you see MCI, NASCAR timing and scoring. Lets you know exactly where everybody is now after these pit stops. Good scramble there. That's for 7th. Give it to Rusty Wallace, and Kyle is slowing down as Andretti goes by him as well. Let's get an update on Rusty Wallace.
Eli, during that last run of pit stops, Rusty Wallace reported his car was a little bit loose in. They went down on the track bar, trouble turn 1.
Rich Bickle in the wall. Second time today he's been there. Caution, lap 221. Well, so much for fuel strategies. Rich Bickle in the wall. Second time today. It happened earlier at lap 128 at the other end of the speedway. He claimed he was put there by Chad Little at the time. Don't know exactly what happened in this instance, though I dare say we'll hear from Rich as to what transpired. But caution for the 6th time here this afternoon, right after the pit stops had concluded.
Lots of fluid coming out of that car.
Yeah. See Rich moving around. Big guy from Edgerton, Wisconsin.
so big they have to cut the dashboard in some of the cars so his knees can clear. This is really a disappointment for them. They thought they were going to have a big day today, and the way the car behaved before the race started was every indication indeed they would.
You see the window screen down there. That's the way the drivers let the fire crews and everyone know I'm okay. You don't have to hurry out here to get me out of the car.
So Rich Bickle in the wall, caution for the 6th time this afternoon. While we have an opportunity, how about our AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 2,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
We all know how important the aerodynamic shape of the race car is. Sometimes during practice, the cars get damaged, and we don't really have enough time to put new parts on them. So how can we get that nice, smooth aerodynamic shape back? Well, Smooth Bill built a special tool for us. By using separate contours on the wheels and adjusting the pressure between them, Bill can work that metal back to an original, smooth, aerodynamic shape.
Rich Bickle has just climbed from the race car and walked unassisted to the ambulance. Pretty mean lick up there in the corner, but he is heading to the care center, but the day is done for the car. Jerry Nadeau had the onboard camera going shortly right there behind Bickle. Let's see what we can find out.
See Bickle just in front there. You see the smoke coming out of his car as he heads straight up towards the wall. Looks like he may have gotten in his own oil or something.
Might have lost
there.
an engine, yeah. So Rich Bickle in the wall. Dale Earnhardt has been on pit road along with some of the other top team. Oh, Earnhardt's in again. Let's get an update.
Yeah, Eli, they're stringing the left side of the car, which simply put means the alignment's out. It's a toe-in problem. Dale can do nothing but sit passively inside the race car. Again, a disappointing finish to what was a promising day for Dale Earnhardt.
At this point, he'll drop back to well down the line. He's already a couple 3 laps down, so he can come out potentially as far back as 27th. We'll see where he falls in line, but it's not going to be a good day being shown now, some 3 laps down. There's the number, of course, that 1 win at Daytona. I guess we all automatically thought that right after Daytona that would be the springboard onto another championship. Never really happened that way.
I think he probably figured it too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he thought, you know, I win the first race, I really get a bunch of top 10s here and maybe get my 8th title, but he's had a lot of problems this year. You know, I was watching Bickle's car go towards the wall there. That was either a motor or he may have had something go wrong with the car, and that might have been tire smoke we were watching, because he went directly straight up into the wall.
Could have been.
Yeah, possible stud throttle.
Yeah, maybe we'll get an update from the fellas later. They're the point leaders. We had talked about them on the pre-race show today, and that's how things are stacking up right now. The lead was Gordon by 40 on Jeremy Mayfield coming in, so see how things might swap around. Jeremy Mayfield has been running solidly today, but really never higher than 7th or 8th. He is in 8th place right now. Here comes Dale Earnhardt out after that service of a short while ago. We're at lap 227. No NASCAR Winston Cup race next week. Then it's on to Pocono International Raceway. Second race within 5 weeks. That's the standard on the schedule for Pocono. Has been for many, many years. 2 races, competitive ones, within 5 weeks of the Poconos. Just having gone back to green 3/4 of a lap ago, Jeff Burton's gotten gone. Mike Skinner stays in second. Jimmy Spencer is the lap machine. Then Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, rather. They're running 3rd and 4th. Then the lap car of Chad Little and Rusty Wallace in 5th.
Mark Martin's having all kind of trouble with Jimmy Spencer right at the moment trying to get by him.
Good close call for Jeff Burton with Spencer on the initial restart there seconds ago.
Jeff Gordon with 4 fresh tires on that car, giving Mark Martin all he wants right now, looking inside and outside, trying to make a move on him.
You know, Martin's up front. You got Rusty Wallace real close to the leaders now, and he has finished no worse than 7th here in the previous races until last year.
Boy, that looked like trouble to me.
I thought that was going to be a crash for sure. I mean, when they go into that turn 4 wide, that does not work. 2 wide barely works here, never mind 4.
Well, it ain't over yet. They're still side by side.
Yeah.
And they're not a long ways away from each other.
Great crowd here today watching this race. They all come early to New Hampshire. You get here at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and this place is teeming with race fans.
You know, not to second guess what Jeff Bodine said earlier in our telecast, because clearly the next lap I drive will be the first in my career. But if the track were as bad as he had indicated, you'd expect to have seen more guys in all sorts of terrible quandaries today.
Eli, exactly. They're running too wide right now. That means that there has to be an outside groove also. Now, I grant you, if you get up high on the racetrack and the loose stuff, any racetrack, it's going to get loose on you. But right now, these guys are fighting side by side in every corner. It's a great race.
I walked the track this morning, and it was in great shape before this thing began. Just great shape.
Again, not to doubt Jeff, because I mean the man's won, you know, Daytona 500s. But you'd expect if it were that bad, you'd be seeing guys banging off the wall all day, and that's not happened, obviously.
No, they're banging off each other. But...
Yeah, well, that's racing.
Yeah, oh, it is. And this is racing right here.
That is third spot swapping around right there.
Mark Martin knows he has a great race car on long runs, but Jeff Gordon has a better car with fresh tires on it right now. You can see Jeff Gordon pulling out to about a 2-car length lead. Rusty Wallace is moving well also.
Those guys can smell the lead.
Yeah, well, the lead's still 2 3/10 seconds ahead of those guys. They've got a way to go. Jeff Burton has a 2nd and 10th on Mike Skinner. Skinner has 1 2/10 on Jeff Gordon.
Look at Rusty Wallace's car there. Gain on Mark Martin from the center part of the corner to the straightaway. Whatever the adjustments that they made on the 2-car during that last stop, it seems to have really worked well for Rusty Wallace.
Got it right, didn't they, buddy?
And again, only last October when Rusty finished 21st here, only then has he failed to finish out of the top 7 in the prior 5 races.
And that was a crash right at the end of the race that caused that to happen. Yeah, he's finished every lap here except 1. In all the Winston Cup races they have ever had, this is a very good racetrack. As we look at Robin Pemberton as crew chief in the upper right, and Jack Roush.
He looks on towards his race leader. Look at this here. Nadeau, Schrader, Earnhardt.
Schrader is just absolutely threads the needle down into turn 1. The green car there, and you see Earnhardt getting by Nadeau.
Schrader was the only one in that mess who was on the lead lap. He came out of it in 11. Earnhardt being shown in 22nd, a couple of laps down, and Jerry Nadeau is in 28th, 3 laps down.
Dale Jarrett mired up in a lot of lap traffic right now, trying to make his way to the front.
Riding with Jerry Nadeau, he's got Ricky Rudd just ahead of him, who's a lap down in 23rd. Ricky Rudd normally runs real well on a flat track that gets a little greasy and slippery, but today Ricky's not really been a factor. There's Ernie Irvan coming into your living room in 13th.
Bobby Hamilton in the 4 there, soldiering along, and Jeff Green just behind him in the green car.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about Dale Jarrett, and don't even know his own last name. My goodness. Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvan both pitted on that last caution. Dale took on fuel. As we said, he couldn't make it the rest of the way. They also changed 4 tires while they were in here and made a track bar adjustment. Ernie Irvan also came in. He was one of the last cars in the lead lap. And Ryan Pemberton, his crew chief, told me, hey, we had nothing to lose, so we put on tires, made a chassis adjustment as well. But they are mired in traffic. Now it has gone out single file, so maybe if the chassis adjustments work, both those cars may be able to move up in the field a little bit.
Might well be. By the way, for the record, Mike Hillman, the crew chief for the 98 bunch, he said that he thought that Bickle might have lost a right front tire, might have cut it, and what we saw was the smoke of him trying to woe that car down before the wall did the woeing for him.
Yeah, I was talking it might be a motor, and then I looked at the path he took straight into the wall. That normally means that something gives way.
liquid may well have been the radiator just rolling back underneath the tire.
Bill Elliott in the 94 there. You can see him getting off turn 2 as he gets by Nadeau.
Nadeau's his teammate. Elliott owns a piece of the action of that race car.
Right now in the top 10, you got 5 Fords, couple of Chevys, 3 Pontiacs. Pretty good in the parity department right there. I guess Sonoma this year, a couple of weeks back, was the first time we had a couple of Pontiacs finish in the top 5. Of course, by the numbers game, if nothing else, Pontiac is down to the other models. There aren't that many Pontiacs running out there.
Let's talk a little bit about Ricky Craven. He has had some problems losing fluids out of this race car most of the day today. So Ricky Craven, he's getting a lot of experience again under race conditions, and his condition seems to be good. He has not asked for a relief driver, so he must be okay.
Of course, he also ran Watkins Glen and did well there, qualified and finished in the top 10. And they went to Greenville Pickens Speedway this week and ran lap after lap after lap, about 200 of them, just to be sure he was okay. It's a little short track, but it's a flat track, and they say if you get your car set up there, your car ought to be pretty good here, and it was at the beginning.
They've developed quite a little cottage industry there at the Greenville Pickens Speedway. That's become, along with the Concord Motorsports Park, maybe one of the 2 big tracks of choice as far as testing, because you can test unlimitedly on tracks that are not on the NASCAR Winston Cup schedule.
Eli, look at this. Mike Skinner's just a little bit off the pace, and Jeff Gordon's running him down. This is the battle for second place as they head into turn 1.
They are still 2 8/10 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton, who has, by the way, clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps today. He's led 132 of 242. There's second and third. There's the leader, Burton. More from New Hampshire in a moment. There is the man of the moment, Jeff Burton. Of course, he's been the man of the last 7 races, really, when you stop to think about it. 6 top 10 finishes in the last 7 races, and there's a spread. It's now 3.5 seconds to Skinner and Gordon and Mark Martin.
Gordon looking in his mirror, and he sees Mark Martin coming. He's putting the pressure on Skinner as he makes a move to the inside off turn 4.
Got him.
So Skinner now back to third. It's allowed Mark Martin to close right in at 4th. Rusty Wallace is still 5th. Super run for John Andretti and Kyle Petty, 6th and 7th, respectively. Jeremy Mayfield is 8th. Kenny Wallace, a good run. Herman the German is 9th. Kenny Schrader is 10th.
Take a look at Mark Martin there in the number 6 car a couple of weeks ago at Daytona. You wonder about the popularity of these people and what they can do. A couple of weeks ago at Daytona, they threw a little party, a testimonial party for Mark Martin. They had 50 tables, each of which had 10 seats. That's 500 people could get in. They had no problem selling every seat at $100 a whack. All $50,000 went to drug rehabilitation in the Daytona Beach area.
And Mark was, I mean, genuinely moved. There were tears in his eyes.
Yeah, there were.
There were tears in his eyes that night.
Pretty special. His mom and dad were there, and a lot of other people who meant a lot to him.
Taking a look back as to who's where, there, of course, is Jeff Burton, the leader. You've seen the ongoing battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but between the leader and that battle, you've got some of the lap machines. Andy Hillenberg, he's in 31st. Joe Nemechek in 36th. There's the 75 of Rick Mast, who was involved in an accident earlier today. There's the battle for 2nd spot, 3rd and 4th, Gordon, Skinner, and Mark Martin.
Skinner's hanging on pretty well. Mark got by him fairly easily, but he's not lost any track position, any space since then.
Rusty Wallace running in 5th. He's 5 seconds behind the race leader. There's John Andretti running in 6th. And you've got Kyle Petty still solidly in 7th. Kyle is now 7 4/10 seconds behind Jeff Burton. Chad Little is the next car on the racetrack. However, he's no longer on the lead lap, having bypassed having been bypassed a while ago to run 19th. There's Jeremy Mayfield. He is 8th, 10 seconds behind Jeff Burton, the race leader. Then you've got Kenny Irwin, who was involved in problems early today, and he's back in 33rd spot. Irwin's only completed 238 of 253 laps. Then you drop back to some more of the lap machines. You've got Jimmy Spencer. There you go now to Kenny Wallace in the 81. He's running in 9th. Behind him, the 33 of Ken Schrader, running in 10th. They're 14 seconds back of the leader. Dale Jarrett now 15 seconds back of Jeff Burton, running in the 11th spot. Then you've got the 90. That's Dick Trickle, not on the lead lap. He's in 20th, 2 laps down. But there is Bobby Labonte. He is on the lead lap. 12th place, 16 seconds back of the leader. Then you've got the 3, Dale Earnhardt. He's in 21st spot, a lap down. And you've got Ricky Rudd. He's in 22nd spot, a lap down. They were battling for spots, for positions. Mr. Jeff Green right there, 13th. By the way, his brother David Green, a super run last night in the Busch race at Myrtle Beach. Super second place run for him. There's Terry Labonte. He is now being shown in 14th spot. Then you go back to the 4 of Bobby Hamilton, the 1 of Darrell Waltrip. They're running side to side or nose to tail right now for 15th and 16th spot. They are on the lead lap. 22 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton. There's Brett Bodine. He's in 23rd, a couple of laps down. Michael Waltrip is in 24th spot. He's a couple of laps back. Bill Elliott's in 28th position. He is 3 laps back. Elliott in the 94. Then our pole sitter, Ricky Craven. He's 5 laps down in 30th. Jerry Nadeau in the 13th car. He is also down at this point 2 laps in 29th. The 30 is Derek Cope. Derek is in 17th, only 1 lap down. And the 40 is Sterling Marlin. He's in 35th position. There's Johnny Benson. He's in 25th, 2 laps down to the leader, Jeff Burton. Behind him, the 22 of Ward Burton. He's in 26th position, 2 laps down. Ernie Irvin is in 18th spot. He's on the lead lap, 28 seconds down to the leader, Jeff Burton, who then cycles back on around. And there's the rundown of those still on the racetrack. In the garage, Hut Strickland out with an accident. Steve Grissom likewise. Gary Bradbury lost an engine. Ted Musgrave with an accident. So too Rich Bickle, and that is 10th place on the screen.
Dale Jarrett, the 88 there, trying to get by Schrader. You can see in the 33 there. Off the corner, Schrader gets a real good run. Some of that Robert Gates handling there right down the straightaway. He pulled up there and went right by Schrader, right under acceleration down the middle part of the back straightaway.
He has to be careful too with Joe Nemechek there on that inside groove. He had to pick and choose as he went.
Well, everybody else has next weekend off, but not Denny Schrader. The next couple of days, he's going to be in Prescott, Iowa, then Lawrenceburg, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, Knoxville, Iowa, Denison, Iowa, then Pocono. All in about a week.
Look at this battle here. We've got 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Mark Martin just got by Skinner the lap prior to we drop it back to him there. You can see right now Rusty Wallace in the 2 car is also trying to get by Skinner.
Looks like the 31's really having to work hard to hang on to a position now. Let's go to his pit and get an update.
Guys, have you ever had a bad shot on the golf course? You dropped another ball and took a mulligan? That's what Larry McReynolds wishes he could do now. They over-adjusted on the car during the last pit stop. They've made the car now too tight. He was trying to hold off Mark Martin. He couldn't do it. Now he has his hands full with Rusty Wallace. Mark Martin, by the way, is his car. It takes a while to come in, and now he's perfect.
And we're at lap 261 of 300, so we're within shouting distance of the finish. Jeff Burton is pulling away. 5 seconds was the advantage. It is now up to 5.1 seconds of an edge on Jeff Gordon. Most folks think it's already a done deal. The leader is in some traffic. Jeff Burton trying to split Rick Mast and Jerry Nadeau.
Oh, my. That's why you put one coat of paint on the right rear corner right there.
If they didn't touch, that's as close as you can come to it.
4.8 seconds of the lead now for Jeff Burton. It's down just a tick because he's been working a lot of race traffic. Tim Burton looking on.
She does not take this stuff unemotionally.
No, very emotional young lady.
Very involved in her husband's racing. Look at her worry.
You know, we talked about the Bud Polsitter has never won here, and apparently certainly won't again today with Ricky Craven well down the line. But do you realize how important qualifying is? 14 of the 16 races thus far this year have been won by the guy who started 7th or closer to the front. And today, Burton, if he goes on to win, he started at 5th. So only twice all year has the race winner started outside of the top 7.
When this car won last year, you could tell that they had a setup that would be hard to deal with for years to come. And when you have a good notebook, just like you said earlier, that when you have something to go back to a racetrack and have something to judge off of, it really helps and cuts down on time and practice and everything else. Great car there.
Yeah. Let's remember as well, the car that's running in third spot right now is his teammate, Mark Martin. So between them, and they do talk a lot, they've got something going here in New Hampshire.
You've got a Roush car, leading a Hendrick car, leading a Roush car, leading a Childress car. And then you've got the Penske South entrance, Rusty Wallace. There's the spread right there, 5.11 seconds from Burton. Back to that man, Jeff Gordon, who is following Ward Burton around the racetrack right now. 29 laps to go. And now we'll look forward again from start-finish all the way around to turn number 2. And there you see Jeff Burton again. So that's actually Derek Hope right there. There's Jeff Burton. So there you see the spread between first and second place.
Eli's almost a full back straightaway. For the people that didn't relate to what they were looking at just then, about a full straightaway distance between first and second.
1,500 feet roughly.
Yeah.
Dale Jarrett and Kenny Wallace. 9th and 10th right there. Solid run for Kenny today.
Dale Jarrett sure had his problems today, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has.
Fuel pickup problems.
Well, his problems really started right there when he ran out of fuel on the first pit stop, and he got out of sequence with everybody and got terrible track position after they had a caution a little bit later on. So he's really fought an uphill battle all day long.
There's Kenny Wallace, one of the drivers who has won here in NASCAR Busch Series competition. Rick Mast has won here. Ricky Craven, Nemechek, Robert Presley. Derek Colt has won here in a NASCAR Busch Series car. Chad Little has won here in Busch Series competition. So the ongoing battle there for 9th and 10th, but there's Jeff Burton continuing now to pull away one more time. The lead over Jeff Gordon is up to 5 4/10 of a second. CNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by the more than 2,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Welcome back, everybody. There is the race leader, Jeff Burton. Now 5 seconds up on Jeff Gordon. 7 seconds up on Mark Martin. 8.5 seconds up on Rusty Wallace. And 8.7 seconds ahead of that battle right there between Wallace and Skinner. Inside of Michael Waltrip. And barring a caution flag now, we'll be with you right through to the checkers. No more commercial breaks unless we have a caution, so we'll all see how this unfolds together.
What a great run by the 31 car, Mike Skinner, today. Rusty Wallace got by him a few laps back, but he has not given up. He's fighting back as hard as he possibly can. The car looks pretty darn good in the corner.
And so does the driver. And, you know, there's been so much talk about Skinner getting fired out of this ride, going to lose his ride. Maybe Larry McReynolds is going to go. I talked to both of them in the garage today. They, in essence, said, we'll stay as long as we're wanted, contract or no contract. But tell you what, a couple of performances like this, all those stories will disappear. And won't Larry McReynolds and Mike Skinner look like great guys? Those guys never forgot anything. Skinner's been a great driver. McReynolds a great crew chief. They just had a tough ride.
I'll tell you, you weren't with us last week in Milwaukee, but Buddy and I were. And they have, in the rumors, I don't know if it starts on the internet or where it comes from a lot of these wild reports. They had everybody in that 31 car except me. I was the only guy that wasn't linked, and that was because I probably couldn't climb through the window, or they would have had me on the list too. I mean, it was really bizarre. Larry Mack was busy putting out fires, because he was with us on the telecast last week, and he was putting out fires, Buddy, as you remember, all weekend long.
Oh, absolutely. He made a long-distance call to Childress on the boat that he was on to find out if there'd been a change, because so many people had asked him.
No, they weren't asking. They were telling him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad to see Mike Skinner and them having this kind of a day today. 282 laps down. As you see, 18 to settle it. The lead is now 6 seconds for Jeff Burton.
Well, Skinner can hang on. He's going to have his best ever career Winston Cup finish. First ever top 5 in Winston Cup racing. And look at this pit of debris hanging off of Hillenberg's car in the left rear corner. I guess that's another way to make your car a little wider.
Yeah, that's not anything to worry about, though. This is just a piece of very light sheet metal that's been pulled away there, so it shouldn't make him get a black flag or anything to come in and get it off there.
Rusty Wallace, so been a while since that last win in early '97. That's the second longest winless streak for Rusty. The longest was the first 70-some-odd races when he broke into NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Has nothing to do with trying and effort. Those guys are so hard on the gas trying to get to victory lane.
Around Ricky Craven in the 50, back this week. If you're just joining us, sat on the Bud pole, but has not really been a factor today. He's 5 laps down in 30th spot. There's second place man, Jeff Gordon. He works inside of Rick Mast. Why don't we head down towards Jeff Gordon's pit and get an update?
Well, Ray, we've been watching you all day. You guys have run almost a perfect race, but there's just a race car out there that's just better than anybody in the universe right now.
Yeah, the 99, and he's really going good. Hey, Jeff and Buddy did their homework. That thing's been on a rail all day. You know, there's been 3 or 4 of us right about the same speed, but none of us can run with him.
Okay, as I said, guys, they've adjusted and adjusted. Ray told me a little while ago that this is about as good as they've ever run up here. They just haven't ever seen anybody like Jeff Burton in New Hampshire.
And the Buddy he was talking about, of course, is Buddy Parrott, who has an influence on the race team, but he is not the crew chief anymore.
We talked earlier and showed you Frank Stoddard of the bunch down there. Buddy Parrott has a huge impact. You know, I had a nice visit with this weekend, too. While we watch these laps wind towards conclusion with Waddell Wilson. We had talked about Jeff Bodine earlier. He has been brought on board to help oversee the 7 teams operation, as you see a good scramble right there for 9th spot, and give it to Dale Jarrett as he muscles his way past Kenny Wallace. Waddell Wilson was telling us, though, Bodine is out of the event now and will finish 37th. So they've reorganized a few things, moved a few folks around. He said it was just a matter of getting that team organized, and he said he expects good things out of the 7 bunch before this season is over.
Waddell, very talented. As a matter of fact, was crew chief for me for a while, and also engine builder for me back when I drove for Harry Renier. So he's got all the qualifications to really turning the race team around.
Remember when his engines were on the pole virtually every weekend or so, it seemed? And he can build some power plants. Well, 10 laps to go. Mark Martin moving in now and wiggles off the corner.
Well, there again, that's why you put one coat of paint on the right rear corner. Mark Martin come off just in the back row, right out against the wall. No contact, though. But I tell you what he is doing. He's reeling Jeff Gordon in some 3-4 car lengths every lap now.
You know, Gordon is remarkable, though. We just saw Ray Evernham chatting down there. This would be, if it holds as it is, Gordon's now in second, or even if he's passed by Mark Martin, it would be the 4th straight top 3 finish for Gordon. The 6th top 3 in the last 7 races.
John Andretti says when you get behind Jeff Gordon late in a race, it's sort of like being on one of those kiddie rides at the carnival. He just sort of gets out a little ways with the car, and then it hooks on a rail, and it's perfect.
Matt, do they think that Martin has anything for Gordon here in the last few laps?
Well, we'll talk to crew chief Jimmy Finnick. Jimmy, you've reeled him in. Your car has been better on longer runs, but are you running out of time?
It's going to be close. Mark's driving the wheels off that battling car, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be close.
Well, he'd like a second place here. Remember, he's never won here. He has finished second. He has the 2nd best finishing average in New Hampshire.
Mark Martin looks to the outside there. Jeff Gordon got a great runoff, but look at this traffic they're having to contend with right now. Both these guys 4-time winners on this season, so both of them very qualified as they fight it out right near the end of the race here.
They've got Jerry Nadeau and Bill Elliott directly ahead of them.
We've got to be really careful. End of the race, cars are tired, drivers are tired. Gordon doesn't want to lose that spot.
Again, if you're just tuning in, this is for 2nd and 3rd. The leader, Jeff Burton's another area code now.
Yeah, if you're Mark Martin right now, you don't want to make a mistake and try to get under and maybe break the back wheels loose, as he just did like right there. Exactly, but one thing you would love to do is to have Jeff Gordon maybe try to pass in the outside groove on these lap cars and use them as a bait to get upside of it.
There is the leader, now by 8 full seconds. Tim Burton looks on.
She's probably tireder than Jeff Burton is. That girl right there, every time he wins, I mean, she is absolutely a nerve knot.
Oh, and Jeremy Mayfield, number 2 in points, has problems. Bad luck continuing for Mayfield. Right front problem.
He's hit something.
Yep. Mayfield was running in 10th. And this is going to cost him big time after tagging the wall in turn 1. Jeremy Mayfield.
There's no caution on the racetrack. See, that wheel is not turning at all. He got hard into the wall with the right front corner there.
And he had been the biggest gainer of the day. Remember, guys, he started in 30th and he was up to 8th. He had gained 22 spots before tagging the wall, and these guys are going to have to do some work here.
And he was 2nd in points before today.
Yeah, that's going to cost.
Yep.
We have a battle here down the back straightaway.
Mark Martin.
He got him.
It is Roush now running 1st and 2nd. Hendrick 3rd.
Look at this. Jeff Gordon up under the left rear corner, makes a little contact there. You can see the 6 car getting loose coming out of the corner.
From Mark Martin. Looking back to Jeff Gordon. Lap 296 on the board, just 4 to go. Again, this is for 2nd place. There's nothing to see at the lead right now. He's 8 seconds ahead. Jeff Burton is. There he is, just so you know he's still out there and running. We hadn't forgotten him, but all the action is behind him.
And Mayfield is still in the pits, losing laps as all this goes on.
He may not even get back out there, Mayfield, before this day is done.
Eli, that was a lot of damage. They would have to replace a lot of parts for that car to roll again. I don't think he's going to make it in time. Jeff Burton looks like a carbon copy of everything we've watched him do all day.
There's Mayfield's bunch working on the right front, but I think it's all over for them. We're at lap 298 now. 2nd place is now 8 seconds behind. There goes Burton. He's gone. No, that's not 2nd there. There they finally come into view.
Look at the lap traffic. It's never easy. You can see right there, though, that Mark Martin has opened up a good lead because Jeff Gordon did get caught up in lap traffic.
Meanwhile, Jeff Burton coming to the white flag. 100 win. Kim looks on, waiting for the first win of 98. And what would be the 4th career NASCAR Winston Cup win. The last one last September at Martinsville.
She was talking to him down the back straightaway there on the radio.
It's taken him 22 races to get back to victory lane, but Jeff Burton has done it. He repeats here in New Hampshire. Jeff Burton wins. Mark Martin comes home in 2nd spot. Jeff Gordon will take 3rd place honors. Rusty Wallace 4th, and a solid 5th place finish, his best run of the year for Mike Skinner. Andretti will cross the line at 6th. Dale Jarrett 7th. Kyle Petty comes home in 8th spot. Schrader is 9th. And limping across the line, Kenny Wallace. He might have been beaten at the stripe by Bobby Labonte. Kenny Wallace right there just limped across the line. We'll give you that 10th place on back and make it official certainly before we leave the air. But how about Jeff Burton just wiping them again here today in New Hampshire?
And a first win as a crew chief for Frankie Stoddard. He did it right in his own backyard.
And 1st and 2nd for the Jack Roush teams. That's pretty strong. They're housed in the same garage there in Mooresville, North Carolina.
The 7th top 10 in the last 8 races for this team. They've gotten their act back in gear, and they had the big triple today, too. They led it halfway. They led the most laps, and, of course, went on to win the race. 191 laps that they led of 300 here in New Hampshire. Now you got to be happy for that bunch. Time now for us to head towards Victory Lane and the Money Store Winner's Circle, where you can enjoy financing of your home and can consolidate your debts with just one phone call to the Money Store. You did it, my man. Down to Victory Lane.
Okay, thanks, Eli. Oh, he's shaking up a little Coca-Cola there, spraying the crowd and us, and drinks the rest of it. All right. Well, I tell you what, man, that's 2 in a row at this racetrack. You have got a real love affair with this place.
I tell you what, man, that's an awesome race car right there. That's just those guys giving me a great race car and then not doing anything stupid with it. And just real proud of all the work those guys did.
Jeff, you were pretty flawless all day. Was there any point in time at all that you were concerned, particularly in the last half of the race, other than something happened to the car?
I was worried to death we get a caution, and my car didn't go on restarts very good at all. And that was my only concern. You know, this XI4 was good all day, and I want to thank everybody at the motor shop, because I'm going to tell you, this thing right here will run. And everybody at the pad shop, my crew chief, Frank, everybody knows everybody's names, and just real proud for all of them.
Well, now, it was a great race car. There's no question about that. But you did a great job with it. You've got a real knack for getting around this place.
It's one of my favorite racetracks, and we got an awfully good race team. We work real hard every single week to be really good, and we were good. We've been good for the last 3 months. We just hadn't capitalized on some of them. So today feels like the weight of the world off the shoulders.
Well, congratulations, but you know we come back here in only about 6 weeks.
That's good. That's what we need.
Okay, he's ready.
And Kim joins him for the celebration in Victory Lane. Let's head towards the garage area now.
Well, Eli, we've caught up with Mark Martin. A 1-2 finish for Jack Roush. Mark, you had a car that was great on long runs, just not quite there at the end.
Yeah, we had a lucky day today. We had a great car on the long runs, and we got a lot of them. So, you know, we came to the front. We just couldn't run with Jeff. We knew it. He was awesome in practice. He had us by that much, you know, and he had us that much all day. I'm glad to see Jeff Burton and his team win. They should have won some races earlier and hadn't, and today was their day.
You gained some points on Jeff Gordon as well.
Valvoline team was just awesome today. I don't know if we gained any points on him or not because we didn't lead a lap, but we raced as hard as we could, and we scored all we could.
Well, Mark Martin has nearly hit the cycle here in New Hampshire. He's finished everywhere in the top 5 except first.
Meanwhile, down in Victory Lane, there's a lot of celebrating going on, and time for us to hand out the Miller Lite Pit Crew Award. Miller Lite reminds you that whenever you feel good, it's Miller time. Mr. Jarrett.
Thank you, Eli. And this award, on behalf of Miller Lite, is already in the capable hands of Frank Stoddard. First victory as a crew chief. Congratulations. What a great race car.
Boy, thanks, Jeff Burton. Thanks, 99 team, everybody back at the shop, Buddy Parrott, Jimmy Fenning, Jack Roush, Harry McMullen. We had a problem last night on the motor deal, and we changed motors this morning, changed transmissions, worked till 8 o'clock last night. And, you know, we just had a great day. I mean, it was easy to call the race. Our car was as good at lap 90 as it was at lap 10 on the tires. The guys had great pit stops. Every time we came in, we picked up a second and a half on the second place car. And that's a good deal because we felt like we lost a couple races earlier this year and on pit stops, and we've been practicing 2 a days, 10 stops a day for, I don't know, till my knees can't take it anymore.
Well, Frank, congratulations to you guys. You did a great job. I'm going to let you go over here and celebrate with the guys now. Way to go, man.
Thanks a lot.
A super effort by that entire team as celebrations continue in Victory Lane. We are back with more from New Hampshire International Speedway. Jeff Burton wins the Jiffy Lube 300. Well, the crowd's still on hand here at New Hampshire International Speedway, enjoying the post-race festivities. Jeff Burton wins. Mark Martin second. There's your third place finisher. Let's head down to the garage.
Well, Jeff, this morning you told me you were worried about the 6 and 99 cars. I guess you were a little bit seeing into the future, so to speak. You gave it a great run the first half. You seem to have you covered a little bit in the second.
Well, it wasn't seeing in the future. It was just seeing yesterday's practice. They were really fast all weekend long. And, you know, we got out there early and led some laps, and I knew it was just time before they ran us down. And, you know, the 99 car was just really, really strong. He was in another league out there, and so we're just battling for second. Me and Mark kept going back and forth after pit stops, and I got ahead of him and thought I could get enough gap between the two of us. And my car was really good, and I guess it was just too good because I wore the right rear out a little bit, and he ran me down in traffic.
You guys have really been on a tear. Your 6 top 3 finish since Charlotte.
That's great. You know, I mean, this team is just performing excellent, and can't say enough about Ray Evernham and all the guys on this DuPont Chevrolet. They're just working really, really hard. They're working together. They're a true sign of what a great team is, and it makes me very proud to be with them every single weekend. I just can't wait for the next race.
Well, Jeff Gordon, a strong top 3 run today.
And Jeff Gordon has also picked up the $30,000 bonus from Gatorade, the front runner award. That goes to the driver leading the NASCAR Winston Cup Series points at halfway. So Jeff Gordon picks up that $30,000 bonus. By the way, Jeremy Mayfield's car finally now rolling. It has taken them this long to get that right front to roll in some degree. We'll head down there and talk to their driver and possibly crew chief, Paul Andrews. So stick around. We're together till the top of the hour, so don't you go away. CNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series has been brought to you today by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that whenever you feel good, it's Miller time. And by First Plus Financial. At First Plus, you don't need equity, you just need a home. Celebrating continues. That is John Sununu Jr. on the left, the Grand Marshal of today's Jiffy Lube 300. And Jeff Burton and the family over there enjoying the spoils of victory. Here, Daddy, you want to have some Gatorade? Paul Andrews is downstairs in the garage area. Let's get an update on what has all gone down on that number 12 car, Steve.
And pushing the car. Now, Paul, we just saw the right front tire come off, and I think we saw the culprit there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we had a little brake problem at the end of the race, and I'm not sure what happened first. If the brake problem created the right front tire, we lost the right front tire and got us into the wall, put us out of the race. I think we were going to be okay with a little brake problem at the end, but the right front tire, we couldn't make it with that. Once we hit the wall, we couldn't go anymore.
Paul, you guys have been so consistent all year. I think this is your worst finish of 1998. How do you regroup from here?
Well, you just got to keep going on forward. We knew, at any time, as close as the points was, anything could happen. We haven't really had any bad runs, any real bad finishes where we've, finished far down. It's very, it's very possible it's going to happen. But, we've got a lot to be proud of when it's not over yet. We just have to keep going and just keep moving forward.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Jeremy Mayfield came home in 30th position, and by the way, we'll show you the full rundown later on, but Bobby Labonte did nip Kenny Wallace at the stripe to finish in 10th with Kenny back in 11th. Back to the garage. Jack Roush swept the top 2 spots as car owner today. Glenn Jarrett's with him.
Yeah, he's a pretty happy man. Pretty impressive performance today. Got to first and second, but that first place car, man, that was something.
That X-Light, oh my goodness.
And a little victory present from his driver, Jeff Burton there. We didn't set that up, man.
Set that up. I believe you picked for me today. Picked for him today. No, that Exide car was just absolutely awesome. You know, in practice yesterday, he looked really good. If Jeff learned anything, you know, that was really special in his earlier series, his previous experience, it was how to race on these flat tracks. It comes to him real natural. Mark, on the other hand, struggles with that some, but as you can see today, he's learning from Jeff. Mark's car was maybe almost as good as Jeff's car for the long run, but Jeff's was the best average car and was surely the best early.
Jack, when you have a car that's that dominant, do you take that information back and spread it among all your team?
Absolutely. You know, the setup information will be disseminated. We'll come back and do a post-race kind of an analysis, both the things they did on the racetrack for strategy and the things that were set up in the car will be considered, and all the other crew chiefs will have a chance to share that information. Unfortunately, I'm concerned that the drivers and the crew chiefs also share it with a number of the other cars, including your brother's car.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that, but Jeff's got his back turned. This might be a good time to get it.
Yeah, I don't have anything for him right now. As soon as I can get some water, though, I'll go get him.
Okay, well, they definitely had something for everybody else today.
There is a happy young fan right there who enjoyed today's running of the Jiffy Lube 300. We'll talk to a lot more folks when we come back to New Hampshire International Speedway right after this. Well, paybacks are tough. Jack Roush got a hold of a water bottle down there in Victory Lane and tried to return that shower to Jeff Burton as we welcome you back to New Hampshire International Speedway. Don't forget, you want to get the finishing order today or any of the NASCAR news, you can go online at NASCAR.com. Your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass, and they'll give you all the latest NASCAR news, which includes the fact that Randy LaJoie got back to Victory Lane last night down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We congratulate him for his win in the NASCAR Busch Series.
Absolutely. Did a great job, and Tim Feedaway, his teammate, sat on the pole for the race.
Another bit of NASCAR news. Joey Knuckles is the new crew chief for Bud Moore's number 15 Rescue Engine Formula Ford. Joey Knuckles left Elton Sawyer's Busch Series team after last night's race in Myrtle Beach. Tim Steele will drive 5 races this year. Another driver will drive the other 3, so Steele can preserve his rookie status for next year. And also earlier this week, Bunky Knudsen passed away. The National Commissioner of NASCAR since 1978, died of heart failure in Michigan. He served as the National Commissioner for NASCAR for 20 years. Bunky Knudsen passing away earlier this week. That is the latest NASCAR news, all available to you at NASCAR Online. Back to the garage area. Matt Yoakum with a very happy Mike Skinner.
Smiles, handshakes, and a little bit of water being thrown around in his 60th career start. Mike Skinner, congratulations, your first top 5.
Well, it's only 5th. It's not a win, but Jeff Burton was awful stout, and I really want to congratulate them. And clean racer, you know. Told Richard the other day, we was talking about all the struggling and me being hurt and not mentally ready to race and stuff. And like I told us, doggone it, Bristol, we're running the top 5 half the race. I said, it's easier to run in the top 5 than it is 20th, because everybody running 20th knows they don't belong there, so it's a lot harder. So, you know, the guys kept the car up front with the pit stops all day. Larry made good smart calls, great gas mileage, good motor, Lowe's home improvement. Finally helped them a little bit. They've been helping me for 2 years. Maybe I got them a little something here, a little taste of Japan back in Daytona. And I hated that we didn't go to Daytona. I really felt like we got a good car for Daytona. We really fine-tuned it for Daytona. We're probably going to have to run it at Talladega first. But these guys are good. If we can stay out of trouble there, we might go back to Daytona and have a good run there.
It's been an up-and-down year for you. Your future has been in the rumor mill quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. Does this quiet the naysayers about Mike Skinner and his driving ability with his team?
You tell me. I don't know. You know, I've had several car owners approach me and tell me, you know, if things don't work out with you in RCR, that you know, you won't be on the sideline, or you won't be in a truck. You know, you'll be driving a Winston Cup car next year. And you know, I hate that. You know, I really appreciate the opportunities to drive other people's cars, and there's some good cars and some good rides out there. But you know, I always thought a dream come true would be to you know, get with my first full-time Winston Cup ride be my only full-time Winston Cup ride. And I'd like to have a long relationship with Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse and Chevrolet. And, you know, Sylvania was on the back of the car today. All the vendor partners, MTD and Southeast Wood and Owens Corning, you know, Valspar Paints, they've really hung in there. They help me with the truck. Snap-on Tools isn't even on the car, and they help us so much all the time. And, you know, means a lot. We'll have some more of these.
A top 5 finish. He didn't miss anybody, and only his 4th start with Larry McReynolds. A career best 5th place finish. Steve?
All right, Matt, we're with Rusty Wallace. Rusty, it wasn't a win, but gosh, you guys continue to post top 5s, top 10s. Great run.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. The car ran great today. We started out real loose, and kind of thought it might be loose at the beginning because I was concentrating on trying to make that front end turn really, really good. So it was loose. We kept adjusting chassis, airing tires up, dropping track bars, putting wedge in, worked on it every pit stop, and got it really, really good. And right there at the end, it was the best it was, but we just kind of run out of time.
Rusty, we heard Ray Evernham say at the end of the race that that was as good as a 24 car had ever run at Loudon. Just the 99 was that good. How about you guys?
Well, the 99 was excellent. He had a great car today, and I thought Mark was good. I really thought the cars that finished in the top 5 were really good cars, but I don't think I've ever seen this racetrack this slick. It was like driving on oil out there. It was just amazing. But we had a good car. The motor ran excellent. Pit stops were perfect. And all I can say is we just got outran today. We had a good car, good, strong top 5. We just got beat, and that was it.
You look like you could go another 300.
Oh, I feel it's only a 300-mile race. You only need 3 hours sleep for that. Heck, I'm okay.
That's the unofficial Dick Trickle rule. Thanks, Rusty.
The unofficial Dick Trickle rule. Well, we'll come back. We'll take a look at the finishing results. Jeff Burton wins it here in New Hampshire. We're back with more in a moment.
Better Life, the official trailer of NASCAR, IndyCar, World of Outlaws, IRL, and a major sponsor of NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 800-800-1230. Radio communications are provided by Racing Radios. For all your racing communications needs as well as scanners, call on Racing Radios at 1-800-669-1522. And by LA West Luxury Vans. LA West vans are available at select Ford dealerships nationwide. Call us at 800-786-VANS.
The fans filing out. Some going the route of the helicopter. Others availing themselves of the 4 lanes of Highway 106 right out in front. Anyway, that's how the running order finishes today. Jeff Burton with a solid run. There's Kyle Petty in 8th. That'll be his first top 10 finish of 1998. A good effort for him, a solid effort. See, Bobby Labonte did nip Kenny Wallace at the line. And hey, guys, Jeff Green with his best of 98.
Good 12th place finish there. He soldiered along and kept himself out of trouble all day long. Did a good job.
Saw Earnhardt there back in 18th spot. Jimmy Spencer 25th. Elliott 26th. Jeremy Mayfield had his problems there at the finish. Started and finished in 30th. Gary Bradbury there in 40th in the Tabasco car. And the first driver out of the event, Steve Grisham of Gadsden, Alabama. So that's the official rundown here as the Jiffy Lube 300 is in the book. What does it mean as far as NASCAR Winston Cup points? Well, while the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show entertains, you see that it's now Mayfield dropping from 2nd to 4th. That was a costly little problem there at the end of the race.
Sure was. First DNF of the year for him. Dropped him way back. He had a tough ride last weekend, or I should say 2 weeks ago now at Sears Point. That hurt him, but this hurt him even more.
Mark Martin in 2nd place right there, only 52 points back. That's hardly anything anymore.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. 5 points for leading lap, 5 extra points for leading the most laps, and then the position to finish ahead of the guy. If he happens to spend, like 5-6 spots ahead of Gordon, it'll tighten right up to 0.
Yeah, we're only at the halfway point of the season anyway. Long ways to go, and that point thing is going to shuffle back and forth as the year unfolds.
There you see the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show, folks, as they put their Chevy Camaros through their paces on the main straightaway. John Andretti didn't have quite that bumpy a ride today. He had a solid 6th place finish.
Yeah, Eli, John had a smooth ride. John, another top 10.
Yeah, it was a good race for us. The whole STP team has done a great job, and you know, we've been doing this all year long. We just haven't been getting to the finish line, and I'm really proud of what they've been able to do. I thought we were a little bit tough for going into the race, and well, I'm really proud of what Jeff did. I mean, you know, he did great. It's a great finish for Kyle, and the King's not even here. He's at the truck race. So, hey, Richard, and you know, and I think that when we go on Pocono, we'll have a better result there now.
John, we heard a couple of drivers say that they thought Rusty and Jeff Loudon earlier say the track was slick. How about from where you sat?
Yeah, it's slick, but you know, it seemed like we got really hooked up there at the end, but we were just struggling in one part of the corner on both ends, and we fixed that. We'll be right there with them.
Okay, great run. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, so an interesting review. Mixed. Hey, now if our director Gary Clem can leave early, can't we leave early? Come back with that hat. We're back in a moment. They are heading towards the inspection station. The driver's job might be done for the day, but for those fellas, there's lots of work yet to do. They'll be going over that Exide Ford with a fine-tooth comb to make sure it conforms to all of the NASCAR rules and regulations. Hey, coming up on Friday, TNN Motor Madness. Don't miss the greatest show on dirt as the Pennzoil World of Outlaws do battle in the Eldora Clash. See you Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TNN Motor Madness. Then coming up on Saturday on TNN, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws will be crowning their sprint car czar. They'll be shooting for $50,000 in the 15th annual Kings Royal. It all starts Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on TNN Motorsports. That is some outstanding racing those 2 nights of action for the Outlaws.
Eldora is one of the real incredible racetracks to watch sprint car racing on. They just run wide open all the way around at that place. And if you've never seen sprint car racing, tune this in. I guarantee you'll stick to it all the way through the broadcast.
And now our producer Joel McKee is leaving. I wonder who's downstairs. Matt Yoakum, are you still here?
Eli's still on the clock and talking to Todd Parrott. Todd, we talked this morning. You guys were pretty optimistic about today. Up and down day for you.
Oh, yeah. It's one of them days where the car was pretty decent. You know, we were sitting there running second or third. I guess ran too long there that first stop. Ran out of gas going down the back stretch. Had to shoot a little ether to it, get her fired back up. Come out 17th. Moved back up, and then you know, we couldn't go 90 laps, so you know, we had to pit a little early, pitted on like lap 200, so we couldn't make it to the end of the race. We had to stop about 15 laps to go. So when that caution came out, we elected to come in because we had to. We had no choice. We'd freed the car up. It was too loose, so it was a good time for us to make an adjustment, and he drove back up to 7th. So we got what we could out of it anyway.
Well, 7th place finish and 3rd in points. Eli?
All right, thanks a lot, fellas. Lots of racing coming up here on TNN Motorsports. Don't forget, there's live NASCAR Busch Series racing from the South Boston Speedway coming up on July 25th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then the Pep Boys Indy Racing League will be racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Live coverage starts with the Lycos.com 300 presented by Valleydale Foods, Saturday, July 25th at 6:30, followed by the Visionaire 500 at 9 p.m. And they're both right here on TNN Motorsports coming up Saturday night, July the 25th. And don't forget, folks, for a daily helping of racing, romance, and Roscoe P. Coltrane, don't miss the Dukes of Hazzard. See it weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on America's Country Home, TNN. We are back with you here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Just wrapping up the Jiffy Lube 300. Jeff Burton got the win. If you weren't with us from the start of the day, here's what happened. It all began at the Magic Mile on lap number 3. Kenny Irwin, Ward Burton, Robert Presley, Ted Musgrave with problems in turns 1 and 2. Then Sterling Marlin had himself some problems. Lap number 26, round and round he goes. Where he stops, off the wall, but the tire takes out part of the race car. But then later the problems continued lap 34 after Andy Hillenberg tangled with Jeff Bodine. Steve Grissom's car had flames. He was just fine. Ted Musgrave, though, lap 128 gets booted up into the wall. Caution number 5 of the day. Then at lap 216, Jeff Burton says, enough of this running in traffic. I'm getting gone. He goes to the front, and with Jerry Nadeau watching, Rich Bickle ends his day in the wall. Lap 221, and Burton goes to victory lane, winning by better than 7 seconds. Well, quite a day here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Hope you enjoyed it. Buddy and Dick, good race, and tell you, Burton was stout.
Eli, as usual, it's a real pleasure to work with you, and I can't wait until the next race.
And we'll be seeing you folks in just a short while. Don't forget, coming up, we've got NASCAR Garage for you to enjoy. And don't forget, too, in a few weeks, NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series right back here in Loudon, New Hampshire. TNN Motorsports will have the Pennzoil VIP Discount Auto Center 200 Sunday, August the 2nd. And there you see NASCAR Garage coming up next, followed by Motor Trend Television. We hope you can keep your dial set right here on America's country home, TNN and TNN Motorsports. Jeff Burton posts the win in impressive fashion. And to the victor go the spoils. For Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks for spending your weekend with us here in New Hampshire. For all of us at TNN Motorsports, good night from New Hampshire.